What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to That's Football. Today, we're going to go to Manchester City taking on Arsenal at the Etihad. And let me put your fears at ease. Yes, I will be joined by Mark Goldbridge. He's going to be here in a couple of minutes. No need to worry. No need to worry, folks. He will be joining me in a couple of minutes. I dragged my ass out of bed on time to be here because I care about you good people. Whereas Goldbridge will saunter in whenever he feels like it, because that's what you get to do when you're the boss of the channel, isn't it? But look, we could be set for a mauling today. We could be set for an entertaining game. I actually don't know. But one thing we will know is, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be happy about this in the chat, is we won't be looking at Cristiano Ronaldo being unveiled at the Etihad today. And I know there's a lot of happy Manchester United fans in the chat about that one. And I won't begrudge it for you, ladies and gentlemen. I won't begrudge it, and I'll tell you why. I remember when Rafa Benitez brought Robbie Fowler back to Anfield, and it was something I'll never forget. And that was Robbie Fowler for us. So I can imagine what it must feel like for you United fans in the chat to have Ronaldo back. So I won't begrudge it one bit, ladies and gentlemen. And great to see you all in the chat. I hope you're ready for a good game today. Obviously, the big game of the day kicks off at Anfield later on at 5:30 as well. The Reds taking on Chelsea, and I'm obviously being a Liverpool fan. I'm looking forward to that one. But look, how are we? I hope you're all doing well in the chat today. Nice to see you in. What the fuck is this? Somebody saying, relax, motherfucker. Like everybody else, you'll love me by the end of the stream. Chill. Goldbridge will be here in a few minutes. But relax. It's all good. Enjoy your little Ronaldo love in the chat. I'm good, thank you, Diraj. I hope you're well as well. A lot of happy people in the chat, which I can always understand as well. Oh, look at the CR7 is better than Salah. Tweets immediately. I'll say a lot of you were deleting that the other night. I've seen a lot of Mohamed Salah is now the greatest winger in the Premier League the other night, and then I woke up the next day and there was suddenly a lot of tweets after being deleted, ladies and gentlemen. It's almost like something happened. I get you. I feel you. I'd have been the very same. I'd have been raging. To be fair, nobody wants them to end up at Manchester City. Not even us neutrals in this scenario didn't want them to end up at Manchester City, because we all know what them and PSG are, really, to be fair. Right, what else have we got in the chat? Can't wait for Ronaldo at Anfield. Yeah, should be good fun. Why not? Makes the league more interesting, doesn't it? You know, 4 genuine clubs that I believe can go for the title this year. Be interesting to see if Arsenal can somehow pull something out of the bag today and get themselves. Nah, they're not going to. Let's be honest about it, folks. We've given the big build up against Chelsea and they shit the bed, so I don't expect anything different today. I think it's going to be a fairly straightforward win for Manchester City. We'll have a quick look over the 2 start 11s. We will start with the home side. Obviously, Ederson in goal for Manchester City. Walker, Diaz, Laporte and Cancelo making up the back 4. Bernardo Silva, Rodri and Gundogan in midfield. Then it's Gabriel Jesus, Ferran Torres and Jack £100 million Grealish on the left-hand side. For Arsenal, it's Leno, Suarez, Chambers, Holding, Kolasinac and Tierney. Then it's Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Xhaka, Saka and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang starts up top for Mikel Arteta's men. And look, folks, give me your predictions in the score. What are you saying? Any chance that they can pull this one out of the bag? Any chance? Nah, there isn't, let's be fair. It's a matter of how many, isn't it, really, that Manchester City win by today. I think I had 3-1 in my prediction. Ronnie is home, said Jaban. Look, as I said, I don't begrudge you United fans that happiness one bit. I think we were all a little bit annoyed. Even me as a neutral, somebody who doesn't really care about either of them, was annoyed at the prospect of him going to Manchester City. It just didn't feel right. It felt grimy, didn't it? It just didn't feel natural. So look, as I said, I remember when Robbie Fowler came back to Liverpool, what that felt like to me. 2-0 to Arsenal. We've got an Arsenal fan in the chat. It's always nice to see somebody in who is a little bit, let me say, optimistic. And there's nothing wrong with optimism, dude. Optimism works. I see Arsenal winning this. I know it makes no sense, but I see Arsenal winning it. That's all right. Paddy Murphy is so deluded. I am not Paddy Murphy, though, so that's got a whole lot of nothing to do with me, my friend. What else we got? Eagles will be shot by the Gunners. I mean, okay, fair enough. What's your thoughts? No, not touching the Mendy stuff. That's court cases pending, and I'm not going near that type of stuff. That's not for me to be talking about. 5-2 to Arsenal, said Killian. Yeah, look, I know nobody wants City to win. I don't want City to win either. We're all anti-City in this conversation. I think we can agree on that much. But, you know, being realists, it's Arsenal, and Arsenal aren't very good, are they, at the minute? So I can't see anything past the City win, in all honesty. Pretty bubbles in the air. Where's Goldbridge? He's here. He's in my left hand. Can you not see him? He's looking magnificent. How are you, Mark? I'm good. You all right? Yeah. What was that? Tell him to shut up. I won't do that, Mark. I'm not that mean. Now, we'll be here in a couple of minutes. Just when you're the boss, you get to stroll in late. You know what I mean? Well, the rest of us are here doing the hard work, putting in the hard yards, making sure we're ready on time. Plastic's crying. Which Liverpool or which player do I want to sign for Liverpool? Mate, at this point, I'm kind of where you guys were last transfer window. I'm just raging at the minute at the lack of activity that Liverpool have done in the window. Kanate's a great signing, don't get me wrong. But yeah, it's just been too little activity for my liking from Liverpool. What have we got? A super chat from Luke who said City to win 4-0. Gabriel Jesus to score first. Thank you for that, dude. 9-0 to Arsenal. What's your score prediction for the Liverpool game? Tough one, isn't it? Because, look, I'm not deluded enough to not think that any result is possible. A Liverpool win's possible. A Chelsea win's possible. Of course, a draw is possible. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to go for a Liverpool 2-1 win. But, look, am I worried about it? Yeah, I'm pretty nervous about the game, lads. I won't lie to you. Chelsea are a good side. But at Anfield with a packed house, I'm hoping that Liverpool can pinch the 3 points and go into the international break on the back of 3 wins, which would be rather nice. But, you know, would I take a draw? I probably wouldn't be too disappointed if I'm being honest with you. But it depends how we show up. Arsenal have spent the most in this transfer window. Have they? I think you're right up there with them if you're a United fan now with the Ronaldo signing. I think what was it? 36 million for Varane, 76 million. That's 112. And then the Ronaldo fee. I think you're about the same, to be fair. But what I will say is the transfer money United have spent versus the transfer money that Arsenal spent, it's not comparable. You know, Arsenal have moved themselves sideways at best, I think, whereas United, with the addition of Sancho and Varane, and obviously now Cristiano Ronaldo, I think they've pushed themselves forward. So at least, you know, you can look in the window or look in the mirror and go, yeah, we spent money, but we probably spent it a lot more wisely than others have, particularly Arsenal, who, I don't know, Edu's probably going to get the sack at Arsenal, the sporting director, because that... They haven't spent well, have they? Like, Ben White's a decent signing, but he needs to play in a back 3, which he will be doing today. He needs 2 taller centre-backs alongside him to get the most out of him. Who the fuck is this Baldy? I am God, and you shall recognise that by the end of the stream, mate. And show some respect or you won't be in the stream. It's as simple as that, mate. You know, it's not too much to ask people in the chat for respect. Treat me as you would anybody else. And you'll remain here. Chat shit and you'll disappear. Simple as that. Do I hate Jack Grealish for switching nationalities like the Irish guy? I don't hate him. No, I don't really carry much hate towards many people in life. And look, do I understand why Grealish looked at the Irish national setup and thought that he'd probably have a better chance of doing something or playing in more competitions with England? Yeah. Did it hurt? Yeah. Same with Declan Rice. But do I understand it? Probably do, to be honest with you, yeah. There you go. Show the GOAT some respect. Exactly. There you go. And see, some of the chat know and love me already because we've been here. We've had a bit of fun. And they know what to expect from me, whereas others just come in and just go, oh, look, egg, bald, la, la, la. It's all good. You'll love me by the end of it, I promise. We'll be besties. We respect you, man. Don't listen to the haters. Besides Mark Goldbridge, you're my favourite YouTuber. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Do I watch the Irish guy? Yes, I know Michael Ramsey really well. I'm actually recording with him next week over my other channel. Yeah, we do quite a bit of stuff together, myself and Michael. He's a good lad. He's a funny guy as well, isn't he? Well, not all of us Irish are bleeding hilarious, aren't we? Come on, you Gunners. No Ben White. No, not in the starting 11 today. It's, as I said earlier on, it's Chambers, Kolasinac and Rob Holding that are in the back 3 with then Suarez and Tierney either side. Love the show, but I have diarrhea. Help. Well, hopefully you're sitting on the toilet, mate, with your phone watching it then. And yeah, just keep them fluids into you, pal. Keep the fluids into you. Where's Mark? He'll be along momentarily. Don't worry. Ball Brainiac. Do you know what? I'll take that. If you're going to lash a word after ball, Brainiac will do rather nicely. I'd happily take the word Brainiac. Egghead. Oh, I can't wait to kick so many people out of the chat. It's so much fun blocking people who think they're funny but then cry like little bitches when they get blocked. What did I do? I said nothing. It's only banter. You can't even banter in football these days. Relax, man. Chill. It's all good. Your mother still loves you. Probably the only one that may ever do so, but that's all right. We move on. You're the best. Thank you very much, Carbe. Very kind of you. Love what you and Goldbridge are doing. Thank you very much. We'll change up this football fan channel malarkey between the two of us. You know, he has the United stand, which is amazing. Fair play to him. Best fan channel out there. I've got Anfield Agenda. We're on the way up doing bits. And I think when we do more stuff as we go along in the season, and that's football as well, we'll just take over. It's that simple. You've got the two best at it, in my opinion, Mr. Goldbridge and myself. And I think we'll change fan content and we'll do it the right way. I love it. This guy's a savage. I love it, mate. If you think I'm being mad on here, you should watch me on Anfield Agenda, where I actually have free reign because it's my channel and I don't need to worry about getting streams demonetized or getting in trouble because I'm the boss and I don't have to answer to anybody. Over here, this is me being respectful because I'm on Mark's channel. I'm how do I say this without mocking myself? But we have something on their channel called Excalibur, whereas basically I just bitch slap some trolls every now and again, and we have a bit of fun. But welcome, here he is, the man, the main man, Mr. G. How are we?
Don't you know? Pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Don't you know?
Some difference from this with the fucking black. With the Black Cantona shirt the other day, where it was all
bow
their heads in silence. And look, I respect it.
No one even got to watch that video, Craig.
You didn't put it out?
No, forgot. Woke up this morning and went, shit.
That's all right, Mark. At least we got to express ourselves. You know, you got to get it all out.
Video lost in the ether now. We may need to put that up for.
That's the Christmas best bits or something video. That is.
Yeah. So basically, me and Craig recorded our Premier. We are playing Premier League predictions, and I've got to shout Craig out because at the end of the first week, I was winning 7-5. You get 3 points for the right score. You get 1 point if they win. So if we predict Arsenal win 3-0 and 2-0 and they win 1-0, we both get a point. But if they win 2-0, then Craig gets 3. So I was winning 7-5 after the first week. And Craig had a masterclass last week. He got 11 points. So he's winning 16-14. Anyway, I've not been crying. I've just put some ointment on my eyes because I've had a bit of a problem with my eyes, actually. I need to put my glasses on. So crying tears of joy, maybe. But so basically we recorded on Thursday night our Premier League prediction show, which was going to go up yesterday, but obviously Ronaldo happened, so I forgot. But I was wearing my Cantona number 7 shirt as a security blanket because I just felt so low. Thankfully, none of you saw it.
I played nice, though. Be fair, I played nice, didn't I?
Yeah. And I think, you know what? I think that empathy has... it's been a weird 24 hours, and I saw FSG out trending yesterday, so I do want to talk about that. It is That's Football. But you know what? The funny thing is about... I was saying this, Craig, and I'm sure you've had it, and I'm sure everyone else gets it as well. The hilarious thing is that last night, I was on social media a lot last night. I had a few drinks, was very happy. And, you know, you're looking at all the tweets, you're liking them, you're retweeting them. And I just kept seeing these odd tweets every now and again. Like, you know, when you tweet something and then the twats, like, found something that you've done in the past. And it was just like a picture of me saying Ronaldo's a disgrace. And the thing is, I didn't even need to reply because everyone else was replying and going, but that was last night when he was going to Man City. He was a fucking disgrace. Like, things change. It's like the best thing that's ever happened to out of context twats who go out and find your old tweets, because it's basically blown that out of the water. Because now people are going, well, look what you said about Ronaldo on Thursday night, and now you want him. Yeah, because he's a legend of the club who was going to snake us worse than anybody, and he didn't, and he actually bantered City, and now he's a United player. I was
on Thursday night. I did a stream just after we recorded our predictions, and I was as angry as everybody. I was full on City, Manchester City, Oil Club, PSG, this, F to both of them, blah, 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 blah. Ronaldo, I can't believe he's done that, blah, blah, blah. I got up the next day, and I'm even getting it. And I'm not a United fan, obviously, but I felt it and I felt your happiness, because I remember saying to the chat, I remember when Benitez bought Fowler back for a little spell at Liverpool, and I remember how I felt like a child again when Robbie Fowler was brought back. So I don't deny anybody their buzz. And look, taking a piss out of Manchester City is always a plus in my eyes.
Yeah, it was a very, very weird situation, a weird 24 hours, but ultimately absolutely fantastic. And I think football's been saved in a sense. I thought it was, you know, I even said it on Thursday night, very empathetic towards what happened to Barcelona, but I felt this would have been worse, really. Ronaldo going to City would have been worse than that would have been like Messi going to Real Madrid. So, but I still feel sorry for Barcelona. I do. I still think Barcelona have been, you know, fans. I don't feel sorry for the board. I've got no time for United's board. I mean, you know, bloody well, everyone's saying they're dons. Oh, you did a very obvious thing. Well done. You brought Ronaldo back when he was available and stopped him going to City. Bloody hell. Let's still buy Glazers in t-shirts. But I always feel sorry for the fans. And, I think what happened yesterday was a win for the United fans, much the same as it would have been for Liverpool fans if they'd have been in it, or Arsenal fans, is that it wasn't the fans who were saying no to Ronaldo. It was the club. And that's why he was going to go to Man City. And that's why he was a disgrace. But it was, the fans weren't saying no to him. And thankfully, the club got in tune with the fans and were like, we can't let this happen. Because ultimately, look at the way the fans have reacted. I've not heard one United fan say, we shouldn't be doing this deal. He's 36. Like, we don't even really need a striker. But these opportunities come up once in a lifetime. And that's the thing for me. He's just... he's our legend at the end of the day, and he's coming back to United. So I hope Arsenal
look at the bounce that this has put in everyone's step at United side going into the season now. Like, look at the pep at everyone's step.
It's not great for Liverpool. It's not great for our rivals.
Honestly, it doesn't worry me that much that he's come back. I'm not going to disrespect him, but I would look at the business United.
Winners. No, it doesn't.
I looked at business United have already done, and I've already said, you know what? They go into this window, they wanted three things. They wanted a centre-back, they wanted an attacking player, and they needed a midfielder. If you can get the midfielder in before Tuesday, then you've ticked every box, and Ronaldo is your cherry on top, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it is. I mean, look, the Premier League's the best league in the world. Anyway, I saw that the French league dropped out of the top 5 this week as well. I think
I've seen that.
The UEFA
Portuguese league went up, didn't they?
Yeah. So... But look, we've got a game to watch. We've got 2 big games. It's a big game day for you. I'm really looking forward to Liverpool-Chelsea. Craig will be doing it on Anfield Agenda, and I'll be doing it on here because ultimately, and
I want you back and forth. If we can see I want you bantering me. If you score, I want you coming back over here.
I want a draw out of that game. I wasn't too bothered when we did it on Thursday. I was like, oh, fuck off. We're not going to win the league anyway. But now we've got Ronaldo. I'm like, we need him to drop points. We're back. We're back in the title race now, even though we'll probably fucking won't win tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, we've got this big game. But just quickly, because we're going to be talking about this game a lot, big game today. I'm very excited. I'm never a neutral. And I will admit, I've just remembered what I was going to say. It was getting so bad on Thursday night. Craig messaged me and I said to him, I'll tell you how bad it is. If Ronaldo goes to City, I want Liverpool to win the league because I don't think we can do it.
I haven't leaked the WhatsApp messages.
I was like, I would rather Liverpool win the league than City if Ronaldo goes there, which you can't say that as a United fan or a Liverpool fan. You can never say I would rather United win the league than that, or I'd rather Liverpool win the league than that. That's how low I was on Thursday night. I was like, I'd rather you lot win the league than City if Ronaldo goes there. So
I was doing my best. I was between you and Drotty. I was messaging you both, going, I understand how you're feeling. I'd be just as annoyed. Yeah. And I went to bed, right? I went to bed and he was going to City. And I woke up and I look at my phone and it's just chock-a-block with messages going, he's only gone and went to United. And I just thought,
you get up later than everybody else, don't you?
I'm a vampire.
It's like Americans. You're on the American clock. They were all getting up in an hour early afternoon time going, what's going on? They've signed Ronaldo. It must be amazing if you're American, really, because they're like five behind, aren't they?
I woke up and I was like, well, someone's playing the blinder there. So the guy, either his agent or somebody's pulled the bluff or played it. It reminds me of the time where, wasn't it, United were in for Sergio Ramos a few years ago and he basically used United to get the transfer or contract extension at Real Madrid. It reminds me of that, but only better handled by Mendes and Ronaldo.
Hey, I wasn't rooting for Liverpool. I'd love Liverpool to get relegated, but what I'm saying is, and I'll stand by it, and you can clip it all. I don't really give a shit about people clipping stuff anymore because it's all mostly out of context. So you may as well take this. What I said was, I would never. Obviously, I'd rather Chelsea win the league over anybody who's going to win the league because there's only 4 teams that can win the league: Man United, outside chance; Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City. Nobody else is winning the league. You're an absolute idiot if you think anyone else is winning the league out of those 4 teams. And if it's not going to be United, it's got to be Chelsea for me. And then it would be City, and last of all, it would be Liverpool. But if Ronaldo had gone to City, I don't think you're understanding as I pity you if you're a United fan and you don't understand how horrific it would have been to see Ronaldo playing for City and winning them the league. I would rather Liverpool win the league than City if they've got Ronaldo, because for me, that becomes, at least Liverpool, as much as I don't like them, they've got a history, they've got a proper, they're a proper football club. Man City taking our legend to go and win the fucking league. Do it. Do one. No way. I couldn't have swallowed that.
Let me just say congrats to you, by the way. I watched the Jack mate and yourself, the driving with Goldbridge. Loved it all. Loved the production value. I think it's something you should be extremely proud of. It was brilliant. Well done. Watch and go can kiss my ass.
Please do watch that, everybody. It's not. It didn't get as many views yesterday as it should have done because something else happened, but it's still there. So do give it a watch. Driving with Goldbridge, second episode. Yeah, I loved it. Hopefully,
I love the reg coming from underneath the blanket at the start. Like it was, the production value was excellent. So well done.
Netflix need to sign it up. Then maybe we can afford you.
You don't need Netflix to afford me, mate. You know that. Jesus.
Yeah, just a note to everybody, please do watch that because literally it didn't get anywhere near the views Pieface got on day one. And I was like, I can't understand it. And then it was like, well, it's because everyone's just watching anything to do with Ronaldo, aren't they? And it's but there it is there to watch, and you can watch it over the international break. But let's come back to Arsenal, Man City. I tell you what, snubbed by Kane, snubbed by Ronaldo, beat by Arsenal. That's a hat trick I'm here for today. Is there any chance that Arsenal will get something here today? I'm just looking at their team, Craig. I don't know whether you've been through it, but
I went through it early doors, but go again. I'm sure people are coming in.
I mean, it looks better. I mean, Leno, Suarez, Chambers, Holding, Kolasinac, Cherney. The midfield looks a lot better. Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Xhaka, Saka, Aubameyang. That looks better to me. Obviously, City have got Grealish, Torres, Jesus, Bernardo Silva, Rodri, Gundogan. De Bruyne is still not fit enough to start. Not fit enough to be on the bench either, by the looks of it. Diaz, Laporte, Cancelo, Walker, Ederson. So I can't see De Bruyne on the bench. He must have had an injury setback there. If anyone knows anything about that. You know what? I bloody love it if Arsenal get something here today. I mean, I'd be happy with a draw, but I will love it if Arsenal get something here today. I'm not pro City at the moment, even though they didn't get Ronaldo. I'm still not pro. Although one thing I must add, I did find out from all this, is that Man City do actually have fan channels. You know, wonders will never cease. Hardly anybody watches it, but somebody has bothered to set one up. So, you know, they're everywhere now.
I was invited on a few of them over the last few weeks.
And they've got a few of them.
Bloody hell. Two. All right, two. Let's be fair, two.
I mean, there's hobbies. I just couldn't be arsed.
I couldn't be bothered.
Fan channels should always start as a hobby. That's how United Stand started. And I respect that. But there are hobbies and there are, you know, you may as well save your electricity and talk to the wall. Like nobody's watching. You got no fans. You got no fan channels. But they have got fan channels now. They have got some fans, look. We don't need Ronaldo.
I'm still seeing plenty of blue, shall we say, around the stadium. But of course, they'll be filled in by CGI by the time this goes out later on, a match of the day or whatever. We'll be told it was another sellout.
Yeah. Look, you know what? Man City do have real fans. I know they do. And to be fair, when they were a real club back in the early noughties and they got relegated down to League Two, they were getting 30,000 in. What they don't have is enough fans to fill an 80,000, 75,000 stadium. They don't have that. And Ronaldo would have brought that. I mean, bloody hell, I couldn't believe the increase in, you know, Man United's Instagram went up by, I think, was it 1 million or something like that yesterday? My social media on Twitter went up by 3,000. That never happens. It's like, you know, Ronaldo's just, he's huge business, isn't he? For, you know, he brings it, not like necessarily business, but he just brings, he's got like 100 million followers, hasn't he, on Twitter and stuff like that. I mean, he would have been you know, I understand why City wanted him because he would have brought a load of, it happened with Juventus when he went there as well.
How nice is it going to be for you, by the way, if you choose? Like, I know you've got young children to get them a Ronaldo kit now, to be able to get them the player that you would have worn, like in your in your early 40s, probably, Mark.
I was going to say, when Ronaldo was playing, I actually was in my 20s, so you know that's how long ago it was. You know, I wasn't a kid. You know, the likes of Keane and Ince and a little bit of the Neville Beckham era, and then I'd never have had, who has Gary Neville on the back of the shirt, you know, a bus driver or something like that. No disrespect to Gary Neville, but you've got to be pretty, you know, nobody gets Gary Neville on the back of the shirt.
Although I did see the replay gone around of him and Schmeichel in the tunnel. Do you remember when Schmeichel was at City and he just wouldn't even shake hands with him? I did have a begrudging respect for a moment from when I seen that one where they swapped sides in the tunnel.
Yeah. Steffi says he had Neville on the back of the shirt. Bloody hell. I bet you were the milk monitor at school, weren't you? I think people who have Gary Neville on the back of the shirt, they're just like the teacher's pet, aren't they? You know, I bet you passed. I bet you got A's in your GCSEs. You know, I bet you did your own work when you got home from school. And that, you know, Gary Neville admit that himself. That's how he became a footballer. He was very dedicated, hard-working, went to bed on time. You know, boring Neville, they used to call him in the dressing room. So, you know, I would never have got Gary Neville on the back of my shirt. I think he's one of the best right backs England's had. There aren't that many to choose from, but he is a very, very good right back. But I would never get Gary Neville on. I don't think it ever crossed my mind. Beckham for me. I used to have a lot of Beckhams, number 7s. And then when you could put, you know, your own name on the back, that was it. You know, I'm very vain. It was always my own name on the back.
See, I believe that as well.
It is true. I'm not bloody joking. Yeah, the day they said they'll print your own names on the back, that was it. No messing about.
Do you remember the day it used to be like 50p a letter and you had like Konchelskas or something? You were like, nah, you're all right, mate. I'm not doing that. When it was 50p a letter and you were paying, like, it wasn't just a fixed fee for the whole name. You had to pay with a letter, and some names they added up quickly.
Yeah. Right, we're about to go live here, everybody. Well, we are live. We're about to kick off here. So if anyone wants to sync in, actually, I haven't got a bloody timer. If anyone knows how you get a timer on StreamYard, let us know, because it's a bloody pain in the arse. We will have a timer for the game later because we won't have Craig, but I desperately need to sort out.
It's the egg or the egg timer. It's one or the other. Like,
yeah, it's the egg or the timer. Yeah. Which came first? But yes, make sure you subscribe as well. Get involved. We're about to. Well, we have just kicked off here. I will sync in, or Craig can sync in if he wants to. Depends who's where, really.
23, you know. 24, 25, yeah. 26, 27.
Yeah. I'll tell you when we hit the first minute, but I've just gone past 33 seconds there. To both, we had an acceptable transfer window. Have we had a better? You're not happy with your transfer window, are you at all?
God, no.
What's going on with Liverpool?
How could I be? Well, look, FSG outtrends every 20 minutes, to be fair, but it's look, there's a lot of unhappy Liverpool fans looking around, obviously, what other clubs are doing while we stand still. And look, none of us are naive enough to not believe we have a good first 15, 16 players in our squad. But to see everybody else apparently not be impacted by COVID and we're the only ones, it isn't sitting well with Liverpool fans. We trust Klopp, we trust the squad in general, but we just haven't got the depth. We know that we need a couple more signings, and
are Liverpool not doing this whole wait till next season thing?
That's what we do every year, and then when next season comes, there's an excuse a month beforehand. Something will have happened. The accounts will be published. There's always some reason why the goalposts are moved, and you know, it was always that Liverpool were saving for a generational talent, that we were cutting our cloth accordingly, and you know, being financially responsible. And then this summer, generational talent all over the shop, and John W. Henry's nowhere to be seen, and Liverpool are crying poor mouth yet again, which isn't a great look for us, to be fair, when you're being outspent by Arsenal, Aston Villa, and any other club in the Premier League, and we're still scratching around £12 million in profit.
Yeah, look, I've been there with United, and no Liverpool fans are going to sympathise with us, but we have got the money to compete, and you know, if we hadn't have bought Ronaldo, Varane and Sancho are very good signings, but ultimately, you know, we're not ready to compete with Man City and Chelsea. You've basically got two teams. So you do think, well, and I look at Liverpool and I go, look, Liverpool got a very good first 11, but they haven't got the squads that Liverpool, that Man City and Chelsea have got, or you know, to a certain extent, Manchester United have got now. I think Liverpool's first 11 can take anybody on, but across a 60 game season, it's difficult.
It is, and look, what really gets us is if last season wasn't a wake-up call, what a couple of injuries could do, then I don't know what is. You know, last season we lost 4 centre backs, and now we're leaving ourselves short in midfield. And you know,
why haven't they done it then? Do you think you've let them off from the? You know, there wasn't much uproar from Liverpool fans that I noticed. Maybe I got it wrong. After the Super League thing, I mean, Liverpool were in the same situation as us. You're basically scrapping the European Cup, of which you've won 6. To go in the Super League. That's appalling from Liverpool and Manchester United, who have such rich history in that tournament. We saw protests at Old Trafford, and there has, you can argue there has been some reaction from the owners because of that. Do you think that was an opportunity missed by Liverpool fans who just he did his little video and sort of let it go a bit, or why do you think?
No, I don't think I don't think anybody believes that PR stunt with the yellow flowers and the camera angle that made him look weak and frail. I don't think anyone really bought into the PR nonsense. I think we understood quite how it was the last straw for United fans with the Glazers. I mean, I could go through probably 10 things, and our owners have made mistakes, and none of us are happy with them. But I think we just keep getting codded with the next summer thing. Like, we're already kind of getting little leaks to say, well, Bellingham next summer. Next summer, Jude Bellingham. But I know something will happen between now and then where we'll get an excuse as to why it won't happen. And the really frustrating part is we're in a position now until 2024 where we have a generational manager at the club. We have our version of Sir Alex Ferguson, the modern day version, basically at Liverpool now in Jurgen Klopp. And if you're not going to trust him with transfer funds with what he's done in the market, then what's the point?
Yeah, exactly. I do agree that they should be doing more. It's a good start to the game here. Arsenal have done quite well here, and I think with City, when they haven't got De Bruyne, and also they haven't got a number 9. I think City are always going to defend well, but I think they are a little bit more vulnerable when they haven't got De Bruyne. So come on, Arsenal, do something.
It would be interesting, wouldn't it, if because that's what they've already had one loss, Man City, to Spurs. So even if a draw here leaves them 5 points off.
Just doing my normal.
Was there a nudge there? No.
Yeah, never going to get it. Yeah, let me just sink in for everybody. we've just hit 5 minutes and 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 5 minutes and 20 seconds there. There are people who are asking. Decent cross into the back post for Saka, and it went out for a goal kick.
Bit of poor control there by Walker. Not paying attention. Arsenal have certainly started the better.
They look good, Arsenal. Maybe that game in midweek in the Carabao Cup, he picked quite a strong team in that game, and they, Ollie was talking about this yesterday, that it's a bit of a weird start to the season this year, gone back to a traditional start where the first 3 games of the season you don't play midweek if you're a decent team in Europe because there's only Carabao Cup, and whereas last year it was straight away playing sort of 3 games a week because it was such a shortened season. I don't think teams have really got going yet. You almost feel like they're not going to get going until after this international break. But that midweek game for Arsenal could be quite useful. I bloody love Arsenal to get something here today because that would be, well, City will have dropped points in 2 of their first 3 games, which is always good.
Do you get the feeling though that it's the Champions League or nothing this year for City? Like, I don't think they really. I won't say I don't think they care if they win the Premier League, but ultimately Guardiola is going to be measured on whether he brings the European Cup there or not.
A weird ball there. No, it's all right. I don't have any fancy Premier League players from either of these teams, actually. Someone was just saying that. I believe my captain is probably still Salah because I was just like, I just don't know who to captain this week. Chelsea and Liverpool are playing each other. I don't really. Oh my God. That is the worst bit of defending I've ever seen in my fucking life. You may as well have some cement in your feet. Who is that centre-back? What a useless tosser. I'm not even an Arsenal fan.
1 cross, 1-0 down.
What a crap bit of defending. That defender for Arsenal should be sacked instantly. Holding is it? Holding is wank. Absolute shit. I'd be
Some Arsenal fan once tried to tell me he was better than Van Dijk. Holding. Look at this. They have him in the corner.
This goes in. I cannot believe this goes in. But I'm literally just waiting for defending it. Look at that.
Look at Leno. What was Leno at? Look, why didn't Leno come and have a go at this? It was in his 6-yard box.
Oh, it's Chambers. Sorry, it's Chambers, not Holding.
Leno, he's so shit. Look, the central defender should have done better, but look at that. The keeper, he followed the ball to Gundogan's head instead of trying to go and get a hand at it. I think the keeper should have done better. The defenders were terrible, but I think the keeper, Alisson, would have been all over that if that was in a 6-yard box. Look at him already.
Useless. They're absolutely useless. You may as well bloody put a chocolate fire guard out in the sun. it would be better than that. Absolutely terrible. I can't even. There's nothing I can't just. How is? I don't even like Arsenal. I find it quite funny when they do badly, but they just absolutely are crap at the back. They're so bad. I mean, Gundogan, he could audition for Lord of the Rings in the Shire. He's a blood. He ain't big.
Let's not forget this is Arteta's old club. He should know how they're going to set up, roughly what way they're going to play.
But that's not even the City way, is it? Put a cross into the box. Oh, I just, like you say, Leno should do better. But look, I think anybody who watches football would be fuming with that defensively. In the first 10 minutes, a cross comes in like that, and it's a gift. He's just won another header against Holding this time. I mean, what? Oh, he's double the size, Holding, of Gundogan. They're knocking high balls into Gundogan, who's heading them down. They frustrate the shit out of me, Arsenal. They are so bad defensively. Another cross.
There's another one. Look,
free again. What are they doing? He's just nearly scored again. A cross into the box and Gundogan's free again. They've got 3 centre-backs. They couldn't mark a white piece of paper with shitty hands. They're absolute rubbish.
And they started well. But as soon as it was put up to them, as soon as somebody attacks them, they just fall apart.
Oh, God. Where do you start on sorting Arsenal out? They actually started the game off quite well. They've gifted City a goal. I mean, they've not even had to work for that goal, have they? They frustrate me. They frustrate me. They're so... I mean, Elway says sometimes it's just a good cross, mate. I don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't a good cross. The defender's got himself in a terrible position, got caught under the cross, and then the keeper should save it.
It's not like there was a cross put in a pace or anything direct. It was floated in. Fair play to Gundogan. You can't moan at him. He got on the end of it, got his head on it, but from Arsenal's perspective,
I tell you what,
I too soft.
There's nothing about City that gets me excited. I think they're such a bland club. I mean, they're very, Pep Guardiola's a fantastic coach. I cannot deny it. And they've got some fantastic players. They're such a bland club. Does anyone else feel that? I just find them so bland. No wonder the media and fans don't really get into them or take any notice. There's just something missing. I'm getting the word plastic. 2-0. They're 2-0 here.
Just setting them up here now. Arsenal laying it on for them.
What did you go for in this? What did you go for in this? I think
I went 3-1. I think you went 3-0 and I went 3-1. I think, but I can't remember.
Yeah, we're both going to miss out here.
3-0. Yeah, it's going to be 5 or 6, isn't it?
Yeah. I went 3-0 and you went 3-1. I've just got it here. So you're optimistic. Arsenal scoring. I think this will be offside, won't it? No, maybe not.
I think Arsenal got the touch on it. I think. No, he's onside.
Yeah, so definitely a goal.
This came off the Arsenal player, did it?
Let's have a look.
Was it Odegaard? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, Chambers goes down from something. Well, the ref's right in front of it, so I think it's 2-0.
Ferran Torres can't believe his luck. They haven't even had to do anything, Mark, and they're 2-0 up.
Anybody got any analogies for Arsenal's defence? Because to be honest with you, it's absolutely...
Oh, hang on. They are having a look at something.
Absolutely terrible. They're so bad. And that's the scary thing. City haven't even had to work here. This is just shocking defenders. Shocking defending. And I agree with Aidan. Look, it'll be all Arteta out. You'll have Mr. Pratt face, won't you? Kicking laptops and all sorts of stuff like that. But the reality
Smithy
is...
Jr. in his mummy's car as well. He's already sitting out there ready.
Yeah. Let's get it safe and well out. They're looking at a possible foul here. Arsenal need this VAR.
A possible foul nowhere near the ball. Or nor was he getting anywhere near it.
What's he doing? This is an embarrassment to him. Like nothing happens.
He's calling it goal.
Goal. Yeah. There is no foul. There's nobody here near him.
And he wasn't getting anywhere near the ball. I know it still doesn't matter, but yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Hand off to the face.
That is a foul. When you see it back
But was he getting near the ball, though? Look, no matter where, if he fouls him or not off the ball, was he getting near it? I don't think he was, Anyway, well, look, I can understand after seeing it. There was certainly a hand to the face. I think we'll both agree on that one.
You know what, though? If he's my centre-back, I'm fuming. Don't go down. You're not in the box. You're in the wrong box to do that, mate.
Yeah, Van Dijk's not going down doing that. Vidic wouldn't have gone down doing that.
Yeah.
That's somebody who's looking for an excuse, isn't it? That's somebody who's just not up for the fight.
I think to be honest, it looked like it could have been a foul, but I'm pretty sure hand to the face is normally a foul, but
New UFC rules this season, Mark, remember?
Pardon?
New UFC rules this season in the Premier League.
Yeah. Well, this is it. We've got to get used to it, haven't we? But hand to the face should be a foul, I think. But what do you know? The funny thing about Arsenal, they've spent all this money, but none of them are starting, are they? Apart from Odegaard.
Yeah, who just looks like he's a young lad on work experience that's happy to be there. Look at them. Arsenal fans are depressed, and it's only 14 minutes into the game. They're already looking at the traffic.
Yeah. I mean, as Jay McCord says, how can you play a back five and you can't defend? Both goals are easily preventable by the centre backs. One of them goes down like he's been sponsored by Speedo, and the first one, it's got the leap of a bag of cement. And Leno, bloody spaghetti arms. I mean, I don't know what he's doing there. I've seen stronger arms than a dead ant. If he's got a strong fist, I don't know what he's been doing with his teens. If he's got a strong fist, he saves that. Strong wrist. I think Leno, I question what Leno was doing in his teens, because those wrists are nowhere near strong enough. Straight at him, innit?
Even City's shirt is meh, isn't it? Like, it's just nothing. It's just nothing likable at all. Even the shirt just so bland and irrelevant.
Owen says, question for you both. Would you take a right hook from prime Mike Tyson or support Arsenal? Either way, you're getting knocked out, aren't you? At least you'll
have the story to tell. Yeah. At least you'd have the story to tell. I got knocked out by Mike Tyson, and people would actually be impressed.
That should have been 3-0. Cut back to Torres. Puts it over the bar. We've already said it, though, about Arsenal. Their season starts against Norwich in mid-September. We called it. As soon as you lost to Brentford, it was like, you're going to have 0 points until mid-September. Your goal of the tournament, you need to score today just to have a goal of the month that's not in the Carabao Cup against some farmers. Cable says, why are you always obsessed with hating on City? Oh, shut up, Cable. Hate. Who said hate? Why
I hate them. I'll be honest, I hate them.
But like, nobody likes Man City apart from Man City fans, because there's not, as I said, even when I try to like you, I just find you so soulless. Like, there's just nothing. It's a bland club. And if you look,
I find them classless. They won the league, Mark, and they were singing about Liverpool on the plane on the way back. That told me everything that I needed to know.
I've got no problem with anyone who wants to support Man City. You do what you want. I've got no problem with Man City. Well, I obviously have a problem with them winning games and winning titles, because I want United to do it, but that's not always going to happen. I look at Chelsea. There's just something about them. Obviously, Liverpool's got a great history. Arsenal, I mean, they've got nothing about them, but they're a big club. Man City, I've never, and they've been doing this for 10 years. They've been winning titles for a long time. Just cannot find anything really attractive about them at all. They've got the best manager in the world. I just can't. Even Grealish. Grealish is one of my favourite players who doesn't play for United last year. He's gone to Man City, and I'm like, I just don't find anything. I just find it very bland. But I don't know, what do they care about what I think, and what do I care about what they think, really? But I just do find them a little bit. And they've got some fantastic players. Ruben Diaz, brilliant. De Bruyne, brilliant. And I do like Grealish, but I just find them, and Pep Guardiola is arguably the best manager in the world, but I just find them very bland.
Just feel, dare I say, soulless, but that is disingenuous because, as you rightly said at the very start, they were filling Main Road when they went down to the divisions. There is a core group of Manchester City fans that deserve respect, but then there is 70% on top of that are, let's be honest, just blow-ins.
Yeah, and look, I know that the hardcore City fans don't like it when people start talking about empty stadiums, but the reality is there are quite a lot of blue seats. Not like, I'm sure there's a lot of people there.
That?
Yeah, they get away with it though, don't they? Edison, you see, they get bloody jammy as well. That could have been a goal. But there should be no blue seats when Man City are playing Arsenal at home. You shouldn't have any. It's not Norwich, it's Arsenal. And look, everywhere you look, you can count a few blue seats. And people say it's people in a blue shirt. Well, it's not. I can just count about 20 just on that shot. But
they're very lucky there that Ederson got away with that.
Thing is, I don't think Arsenal have started off that badly, apart from defence.
Yeah, if you're Aubameyang or you're that Arsenal attack, you're looking behind you going, we're having to score 4 a game if we're to win anything.
Mr. Glenn Johnson says, Arsenal look about as seaworthy as a colander. A lower third finish to the season wouldn't be a big surprise if they stick with Arteta. Not going to lie, my Sunday League team is better at defending set pieces, says Manav. With the addition of Ronnie and the tiny possibility of midfielder, have your predictions changed for the league and the Champions League, says Edward Walters. Jorge Mendes is the agent of Neves and part owner of Wolves. Maybe Sunday could be used as an opportunity to discuss Neves, says Aaron. Maybe.
Yeah, Mendes obviously owns and runs the Guest a Few agency, who, funnily enough, we have good ties with as well. Jota and Fabinho were both bought in via that. And do you remember Deco? Little Deco from Barcelona and Chelsea? He's one of the agents working with Mendes as well at that agency. This just feels a bit like, well, we're 20-something minutes in now. It's 2-0 down. It's already game over. It already feels like, let's get the word search out. And
well, I don't think Arsenal on the attack have looked terrible. I just think that the reason this game is over is because that defence looks like it's going to... I mean, look, as I said, Torres had a great chance and it was already 2-0. So they look like they're going to concede every time they bloody attack here. Arsenal have got to sort their defence out. I'm not even, all right, probably not expecting much today, Arsenal fans, were you? But defending like that, you're going to lose to Brentford. Oh, you already did. Norwich might actually score a couple of goals against you. That's the problem. It's like, oh, your season starts against Norwich. And yeah, I'm sure you will beat Norwich. But if you defend like this, you might not. Look at that again. They're just so... It's like they're playing in Timberland boots. So heavy, the defence. It's just... And look, if they sack Arteta, maybe they do get a Conte, but I just don't see it.
I think Edu's the most likely one to get sacked from what I've read. The sporting director, whoever sanctions that transfer business should be the one that gets the bullet, whether it was the manager or the sporting director, because to spend probably the joint amount or the most amount in the Premier League and go sideways, and probably worse in your goalkeeper position, if anything, by adding I love a relegation Ramsdale into the team.
I just don't even know what that was all about. Count Duco, I don't think there's many United fans saying we are going to win the league. To be fair, with Ronaldo, I've not heard any United fans say that we're going to win the league of note. So, just very happy to have Ronaldo. Yeah, I think City have won 3 out of the last 4, and no one gives a shit. You still got no respect. So, I want United to win titles because it means something. I'd love to have won 3 of the last 4, but I'm openly putting the question out there. You can get as bitter as you like, City fans, but you have won 3 of the last 4. I think. I don't even know. and nobody gives you any respect. This is a problem. This is why you needed Ronaldo to bring some fans and stuff. You know, you might
Can't win the Champions League though.
What?
Can't win the Champions League though. Mr. Overthinker done it again.
Yeah.
So what would they have done if they had got Ronaldo and got to the Champions League final? They probably played him at right back.
I don't think anybody's jealous of City. Well, Arsenal probably are at this moment in time. Arsenal are probably jealous of anybody, but I'm not jealous of City. I'm sure.
Are you honestly telling me like that Anfield or Old Trafford, a home game against Arsenal, that not just would they not have been sold out, you would have been very fortunate to get a ticket. You'd have to be calling in favours to try and get a ticket to the game. And you look around there and we'll get every excuse. We'll be told that this was before kickoff and that camera angle's a lie. And we know week in, week out, they're so spoiled at this moment in time that I'll tell you what, here's a good story for you. You know Connor, the other half of our channel.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Aguero moment where they won the league?
Yeah.
His school got 15 tickets for that game when he was in school in a block together a couple of weeks before the game. For that moment, the biggest moment in the club's history, and they were able to just get block buy tickets like that. Could you imagine that for Old Trafford?
In fairness to City, though, I mean, they take it as an offence, but the reality is they can't fill that stadium. It's well known. It's been known for a long time. They cannot fill that stadium, and the only way they're going to fill that stadium is by becoming Liverpool or Manchester United, who, in fairness, on a match day, and look, some United fans, probably some Liverpool fans, don't like this. There's this obsession that you're a proper fan if you're only if you're from Manchester or Liverpool, which is a nonsense, because the reason Anfield gets full every game and the reason Old Trafford's definitely full every game is because there's fans coming in from Ireland, Europe, America, Asia. You know, that's how you fill a ground. You fill a ground with a nationwide and a global wide fan base. And Man City just haven't grabbed that yet. And look, people.
Oh, we go. Offside.
Oh, he's offside anyway. Xhaka. I can't wait for Arsenal versus Oxford next season, says Peter. They'll be all right. Arsenal will sort themselves out once they start playing people more around their level. Norwich mid-September. But look, well done, Man City. Great manager. Great team. Great football. But nobody respects you and nobody really wants to watch it, even including whatever your capacity is. I don't know why that is.
They increased it as well, by the way. They increased that capacity as well, which makes it even funnier.
Nobody would watch my FIFA career mode if I did it with all the cheat codes. They'd just go, oh, yeah, but you've won, but you've done it with cheat codes. Some people would watch it because they like my content, but I wouldn't get loads of people tuning in. A lot of people tune in for my FIFA career mode because, like, when you play in Burnley, because they know I really struggle with it. And I don't cheat. I play on Ultimate and I don't cheat. And it's pure. If I played with cheat codes, I wouldn't have as many people watching. And I think that's why Ronaldo would have been such a good signing for City, because, you know, they're still the same club who buy success, but you bring Ronaldo in. Look at when he went to Juventus. Their fan base grew massively on socials. They made shitload of money in the first 2 days. Look, I want United to buy Ronaldo because he's a United legend. And that's why I want him back. And he is back. But for Man City, this is why I was so distraught on Thursday night. I will sit here and say, and I said it on Thursday night, he's an amazing signing for Manchester City, Ronaldo. And Man City fans are going to be very bitter about that now and say, no, we don't want him. But he would have been the player that filled the ground today. He would be the player that fills that ground every day. He would be the player that builds your fan base globally, which you need to do, which is why I'm really surprised they never went for Messi, because Pep loves Messi. I couldn't understand why City didn't go for Messi, and yet they went for Ronaldo. I don't know why they didn't go for Messi. I was convinced about that.
It would have been a much easier sell to the world as well. You know, them reuniting again, Pep and Messi, and the story of could Messi help Pep to another Champions League title. You could have built a whole narrative around that situation.
Yeah, I was very surprised, and that would have been, again, if I was in charge of City, Ronaldo, Messi would, you know, they're going to get neither now. That would have been Either of those players are exactly what City need to bring interest. It's why they bought Grealish. They bought Grealish because he's a very popular player in England. He's not Ronaldo and he's not Messi, and he's not going to have the same appeal as Ronaldo and Messi, I'm afraid. But I applaud it. Ronaldo to City. Well, and then you've got the whole he used to play for United thing. The story, City don't need good players to win trophies. They can do that. What City need is headlines, positive headlines, hype, and he would have brought that. And that's why City fans were so excited about it.
But they got that with Pep, though, didn't they? They got that kind of legitimacy with Pep to a degree. No matter what happened with Pellegrini or Hughes or everybody beforehand, Pep really brought them that attraction and legitimacy towards attracting players in and attractive football and a brand around the world. I wonder what will happen when he goes. I know he signed a year after this year, but I genuinely wonder, one, who they'll get in and will they still manage to be the same force?
Yeah. But they'll always have the money. Although, in fairness to City this summer, I've got to say, they could have. I thought they were going to spend 250 million because I really thought they'd get Harry Kane, and they've ended up just spending the 100 million, which I'm sure you'd love to spend. But they've only bought one player, 100 million Grealish. Aguero's gone. Do you think they'll do anything in the market?
Yes.
Oh, let me just think a minute. We're just about to hit 30 minutes here. It's 29 minutes and 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 30. 30 minutes exactly if you want to sink in. Do you think they will buy a striker in the next few days? And if so,
yeah, I think they've been left with egg on their face. And I think that there will be a lot of angry people behind the scenes at Manchester City, and that they will still try and get something done between that. Now, what they can do, I don't know, mate. Are they going to be able to pinch Mbappe from under rails, noses? Who else could they turn to at this point? There aren't many absolute superstars that we go, oh no, we're quaking in our boots. Like Kane would have won them the league and potentially the Champions League. We'd have known that. We'd have guaranteed that would have been 30 goals a season. Ronaldo would have done what you said before, helped legitimize them around the world, increase fan capacity, and brought them a decent player as well. But I just don't know who's left. Like, they're not coming to a Premier League club for anyone. They're not getting Salah or anything. Who is there left around Europe realistically? Lukaku's gone to, is that a penalty? No, ref points. I just don't know who they could go for, to be honest with you.
No.
It wouldn't surprise me if we heard of a ridiculous bid for Harry Kane again last minute.
I really thought they'd get Harry Kane. And look, I must admit, if City had got Harry Kane, it would have made them a little bit more interesting. I think one of the other problems with City is I find Jesus and Torres and Bernardo Silva, I just find them quite boring.
We forgot really one name. We forgot one name. Yeah. They still have an opportunity to go to Dortmund and try and pinch Haaland.
Yeah, they won't get him though, because I think PSG even looked at that.
Imagine PSG, by the way, look like they're looking at Richarlison as a replacement for Mbappe.
I know, he's not that good, is he?
I was pissing myself with worry that they'd come after Salah.
I find Jesus really boring, Rodders. I always have. There are... Look, I don't want to make this all about City, even though we're talking about City, but there are certain players I just find boring, even though they're not bad. Let's name some boring players in the Premier League that aren't bad, but you just find them a bit boring. Callum Wilson, boring. Danny Ings, I find him a bit boring.
I like Danny Ings.
Yeah, we're all going to have different ones. Trying to think. Come on, people in the chat. Kyle Walker, Fred, McTominay. If you're a non-United fan, yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, I think Bernardo Silva is a good footballer, and I think Jesus is a good footballer. Who was the other one I said? Torres, good footballer. I just find them very bland players. Now, if they bought a Haaland, I'd be like, ooh. If they bought a Harry Kane,
yeah.
Ooh.
I used to look at the likes of...
When De Bruyne is playing, I'm like, I want to watch.
I'd have the utmost respect for the likes of Vincent Kompany, David Silva, those players. I'd have far more respect for them as players that brought City up than the lads that are there now. I really don't like Bernardo Silva. Probably because he was very disrespectful to us.
He was. I think he's fell off a bit. I mean, Gundogan's a good. I like Gundogan, and United were linked to him, and I do like Gundogan. But Cancelo's another one. He's a good player, but he's just very boring, really.
I've one more for you. I've one more off the top of my head. Potential Hail Mary for Man City, Lewandowski. We do know that there's 100 million will buy him.
100 million? He's about 49, isn't he? He's older than
100
me.
million euro would buy him now, apparently. He's 2 years left on his contract.
Yeah, it's too expensive for his age, I reckon.
Well, yeah, I suppose they didn't even want to pay money for Ronaldo, did they? They wanted to try and get him on a free.
And Ronaldo's very different. I mean, look, I'm so excited about Ronaldo being back at United, but even if you're not a United fan, I think what we're going to see over the next 2 years, and I think United have made the right 100%. There's no doubt in my mind. You can't not do that deal. I think it's a brilliant deal, even at 500 grand a week or whatever. But the interesting thing with Ronaldo is, and I knew it when he was at United, and you've seen it at Madrid and Juventus, there is no player in the world that looks after themselves like he does. His fitness is unbelievable, and it always was. And it's amazing, actually. I don't think it bothers Rooney, but I think Rooney and Ronaldo, I'm just going to check in a minute. I think they're the same age.
Yeah, they are.
And Rooney was out on the piss and doing this, that, and the other. And Ronaldo was there, probably doing 100 press-ups in a minute, every minute. Ronaldo had
red
that
card.
thing. Oh
Xhaka.
That's over. What a prat. What a prat. Why do Arsenal keep
Aubameyang's captain? He's a gobshite. Literally, he's just an accident waiting to happen. 2-3 times a season, Mark, he does this. 2-3 times a season, you'll get this stupidity from him. Look, he's a gobshite.
Is it a red?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He almost invites the way he jumps into it. He jumps
I think the player
into
makes
that.
a meal of it, but I would have done as well. As soon as I seen that tackle, I don't think there's even any connection. It's just it's a horror. I mean, Jimmy G says it's never a red. I'm sorry, Jimmy. I think it is.
He brought the second foot in there intentionally. If he'd gone in there one-legged, rear leg pulled behind him, sliding along the ground,
he's off the ground
all day long.
He's off the ground. He may as well call himself bloody British Airways. He's off the ground.
He even looks like he tries to put force through it.
Manchester Airport's giving him landing permission.
Oh, look, they're off. They're off. So long. Farewell. TTFN. Robbie's outside with the camera.
Yeah.
Adios, lads.
Robbie's thinking.
Pull down the windows. Fill up the Bentley. Go on, fill it up.
It was worth the trip to Manchester.
Early day. Motorway's clear on the way home.
It's a definite red for me. I don't want it to be a red, but it's a definite red for me. Oh, dear. I want a perfect score here. I've got 3-0. It's going to be more than that, isn't it? It's going to be more than that.
I think at this rate, mate, we're going to have to just go on per half at this point. We're going to have to start playing these games in halves or something. When City are playing. This is going to be carnage, isn't it?
I've got to say, on just before we talk about that red card, on the subject of Xhaka, when they were going to sell him to Roma, I was like, that's really good business. When they gave him a new contract, I was like, what are they doing? Sometimes you can look at another club and go, I'm really glad they're keeping him. We had it with Fellaini. I was desperate to get rid of Fellaini. And I used to hear people like yourself and United fans, well, probably not yourself, actually, because that was quite a long time ago, but you'd see people on social media who are like Liverpool fans, Arsenal fans going, yeah, I hope you keep Fellaini. And that's straight away, you're like, fucking hell. If rivals want us to keep him, he's shit. Like, he is shit. I'll tell you now, Arsenal fans, Xhaka, I could not have been more happy when you were keeping him. He's an accident waiting to happen. His attitude stinks. And I don't think he's that good either. And he's not cost you this game, but he's definitely cost you an opportunity to come back into it.
And he's supposed to be the spine. He's supposed to be the hard man. He's supposed to be one of the leaders out there in the centre of the pitch.
Yeah. And let me ask everybody as well. You've seen it all back. We'll see it again at half time. There's a few people like Psycho in 4K saying never a red. Mate, I'd love it not to be a red. There's nothing I'd love more than to say, oh, Atkinson's a cheat. You know, you could almost, I think the second goal, there is a case. I want to look at it at half time. I think there's a case to say the second goal could have been chalked out for a foul, but I can't defend the red. He's off the ground. As I said, he's looking for landing permission from the airport.
He initiates the extra force himself. Yeah. He could have made that, pulled out of half of that challenge.
It doesn't matter whether
I agree with you.
It doesn't matter whether he gets the ball. It becomes irrelevant. The minute you get off the ground, people think, well, he's made the tackle, it's never a red. That is the definition of a reckless tackle, because I don't think he really hits Cancelo. I think Cancelo makes a meal of it. I would have done it as well. But the minute, as Craig says, he gets off the ground, you give yourself that momentum. You don't need to be off the ground. The minute he's off the ground, it becomes a reckless tackle. Whether he gets the ball, whether he makes contact or not, that's why it's a red. I can't argue with that.
We've all done it. We've all been playing in games where we're losing, we're frustrated, and we've done that. Like, we've all done it, but we're not professional. Oh, there's Lennon. Look, he managed to punch one. And look, I do agree. I think we both sit here, and in hindsight, both of us said that, you know, the hand to the face in the build-up of the second goal, there's certainly a fair argument there.
We'll have a look at half time, won't we? But yeah, but I can't see anything other than a red. And also, then you've got to take it away from United's point of view and say that, sorry, not United, from Arsenal's point of view, and say, you know, why are you keeping a player like that? It's not the first time he's done it, is it?
You need leaders out there, and you know you're going to be without the ball for a lot of this game. And Mikel Arteta would have looked at his squad and would have hoped for leadership qualities from Xhaka today out there. And instead, whether you think it was a red or not, he gave the referee a decision to make, which was purely avoidable. And the referee made his decision, and his team are now 2-0 down and down to 10 men.
They should have got rid of him in the summer.
Absolutely. And there was, do you know what the funny thing is? There was some good, decent holding midfielders around. They probably could have gotten in over the summer. Even look at a player who'd been linked to both Liverpool and United loosely at some points as well, Basuma. You're telling me they could have got rid of him and brought Yves Basuma in there, and he wouldn't have been a better addition to that midfield?
Exactly. A little bit of breaking news around United, actually. Delot is apparently agreeing a deal to go to Dortmund, which means Manchester United will go for Trippier. They've been, I mean, I know the United have wanted Trippier for a very long time. It's not done yet, but apparently there's been a bit of a breakthrough with Delot. And it'll be a sale as well, which is, I'm disappointed about that. I like Delot, and I think he's not been given a fair crack of the whip by Ollie, but I always said Ollie didn't like him. And, you know, obviously he wants to bring Trippier in, who's an experienced right back. So, you know, we'll be spending money. The thing that annoys me about that is we'll be spending money on a right back instead of buying a midfielder. But yeah, it's very hard to criticise United when they've bought in 3-0, Jesus, and I think it's Grealish who's made it.
Training exercise.
Yeah, we're not going to get an accurate score here.
Well, as things stand, it's perfect for you, isn't it?
Yeah. Why?
I need a consolation for Arsenal and nothing else to happen. So I don't think either of us are too confident we'll get the 1 point for the win. But look at this again. Look at the space he has. Little ball out left. Simple step over, down, bang. Time to take a touch in all the 6-yard box.
I mean, the Grealish work's good. Grealish gets it on the wing, stands up the fullback. But who goes with Jesus? Neither centre back.
He has time to take a touch.
They are so bad defensively. They don't
Look
mark
at that.
anybody.
He sets himself up as well. He doesn't even have to swing it. He's so much time in that 6-yard box that he's able to touch it onto his left foot.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm almost starting to feel sympathy. Honestly, at this point, I'm almost starting to feel sorry for those poor feckers who've made this trip.
Apparently, Fabrizio is saying, "Oh, I don't know what is Fabrizio saying there."
Oh, here we go again.
Oh. I need this game to end now. That's my perfect score. End the game at half time and I get the perfect score of 3-0. I think, you know what? In football, so many things are not predictable. Like, you can't predict most things in football. But one thing you can predict, and we must applaud them for it, is that you can predict Arsenal over the last 5 years are going to be shit.
And another thing, we slag off City and stuff as well. But I think one thing City do better than anybody else is put the dross to the sword. Like, if there's a team to be beaten 3-4, 5-0, they do it. I'll give them credit for that. Like, they do beat who they're supposed to beat quite easily.
I think the annoying thing is, and we've all been in this situation, whether United, Arsenal, Chelsea fans, whoever, Liverpool, whatever. The reality is we've all been in this position where we've lost games. But what would really frustrate me is I don't think, and look, obviously he's the coach, so you've got to take responsibility. But I don't think Arsenal ever get to see what Arteta's trying to do, because what was the plan today? For the first 5 minutes, it looked okay, and then your defense makes you go 2-0 down, and then is he the captain, Xhaka? I don't know whether he is or not, but he gets himself sent off, and another defensive error after that. Like, I
think Aubameyang's the captain normally, and Xhaka backup. I think.
They are. It is on the coach, because you sort the defending out, but so many of Arsenal's problems always come down to individual ineptitude. Like, they've only had 3 attempts on target, and they've scored all 3. Man City. If you actually look at the match stats, Man City have had 6 shots and only 3 on target and have scored all 3. It's not been like chance after chance after chance after chance. It's just absolute disarray at the back.
I can't even sit here and say, in all honesty, that Manchester City have blown them away and they've been unbelievable. They've barely had to get out of second gear. No, like, you feel here they could go up another 2 or 3 gears easily if they needed to.
This is it's I try and put myself in the hands of in the head of an Arsenal fan. I'd just be fuming with individual twats. But I don't know whether they do that, though, because, when I listen to, and I don't anymore, but when I used to listen to these Arsenal fans giving it the big one, one, I don't think they've got a bloody clue about football. I think their football analysis is crap. I think mainly it's just shout. I've not heard an Arsenal fan before that I've gone, ooh, and I have. I know a few Arsenal fans who are brilliant, but we're streaming here, so who all the Arsenal people are, and I just don't think any of them really have got any football knowledge. It's just noise. And what also I find frustrating is that I know that they like certain players because those players interact with them on social media. And I mean, look, let's take the case of Aubameyang for a start. He looks like he hasn't given a shit since he had that new contract. He just doesn't put a shift in. I know it's not his fault. He's had no service, but he just doesn't he's running around. It doesn't look like he gives a shit. Leno. They all love Leno. He's wank. He's a Jordan. He's a German Jordan Pickford. And Pickford he did all right in the Euros, I'll admit, but I wouldn't want him in my goal. Who's another one that's a fan favourite that they never want to have a go at? Like, they Tierney. Yeah, I mean, there's always an excuse for him. He's not, for me, he ain't good enough. They talk about him being better than Robertson. You're having a bloody laugh. You're having a
Chambers, Holding. You could go through them all, to be fair.
And
the only one I give any sympathy for is Saka and Emil Rowe. They're the only ones that I've got any real time for because, you know, they're trying to get Arsenal out of this mess that the last generation has caused.
I respect an Arsenal fan who would sit there, like I'm going to sit here, and I'm not an Arsenal fan, and say, at the end of the day, look, how can you put that on the manager? He puts a team out. He's probably been training with them all week. Leno's got wrists I mean, as I said, as a man, how can you have wrists like that? What were you doing in your teens? You've then got centre-backs who, they look like they're wearing Timberland boots full of cement. Like they've got not just their jumping, their general movement is awful. They're like an injured elephant. They've got no movement. They've got no dexterity. They've got no agility. And Xhaka, I mean, what's he supposed to do? You know, they should have sold him. Who makes the decision around that? Because I think they did want to sell him because I'm sure they were looking at somebody else and then they weren't selling him. So that's probably on the sporting director, like you say, Edu. They just, you know, if I'm the manager there, I'm like, God, it doesn't rain, it pours, doesn't it? Because to be honest with you, I think the players, it's not like he can pick Van Dijk or Varane. He hasn't got those sort of players.
It's all right, Mark. Just down the road at Richmond FC, we've got Ted Lasso. You know, phone call in there. He could come in, save the day.
You know what? I respect Arsenal fans. I know some of them, but these ones who just start going, Arteta! You know, you've got some of these players on speed dial, and that's why you don't bloody go in on them. That performance there from every single Arsenal player is abysmal. And if you respect your shirt as an Arsenal fan, then you should demand more from the people who wear it and stop hiding behind a manager. A manager is a manager. It's one man. Those players are shit. Their attitude is shit. And they'll still be there if you change your manager. And they were still there under Emery. So all this, Arteta. I'll tell you now, I've played football, I've coached football, I've watched football. Most of those goals are not on coaching. They are on individual ineptitude. And that has been the problem at Arsenal before Arteta, and it'll be the same after him. But you know what? Kick your laptop, throw something across the room. The reality is you don't know football and you're shouting for the wrong things. And also, this is what you deserve because you went after Wenger. You went after Wenger because he wasn't winning you the league. You are fed up of fighting for fourth. We're fed up of being in the fourth place. We're fed up of being knocked out of the Champions League in the first knockout round. The only European trip you're going to go on is if you go on a bloody Eurostar to Paris. That's your only chance. You're not even in Europe now. You're Brexit FC. You're out. Brexit means Brexit. You forced Emery out. He's gone and won the bloody Euros. Not the Euros, the bloody Europa League. Switch on. If you're an Arsenal fan, switch on and start having a pop at these players that you protect. Stop going at the players you don't like because Bellerin ain't even bloody playing. Look at the attitude. Look at the team. They should be doing a lot more for your shirt.
Let me put it like this. If that was a Manchester United, a Liverpool, or a Chelsea dressing room at halftime, 3, 4, 5 lads would be standing up there screaming. They would be calling players out. They'd be singling out attitudes. I can't imagine. I'd imagine that Arsenal dressing room is fairly quiet at halftime.
Yeah. Look. I can sit here and quite honestly say, do I think Arteta's the man for that job? Probably not. Do I think Conte's the man for that job? No. Do I think Zidane's the man for that job? No. You know what I think you need at that place? Somebody with a bit of bloody common sense at the top of the club. I said this before with United. Like, we've all done jobs in our life, most of us have. And the reality is, if your boss makes it acceptable to be shit and not good at your job, then you will be shit and not good at your job. It starts at the top. And in football, just as we were talking about Liverpool, Chelsea and Man City are brilliant because their owners are ruthless. If you finish second, you're probably going to get the sack. At United, if you finish fourth, you can have a 3-year deal. That's how it works. At Arsenal, I don't know. You can finish 8th twice in a row. We can spend over £100 million on. I don't even know what they spent the money on. I think Odegaard's a good player. Ben White for 50 million. Couldn't believe it. Ramsdale, what's the point? And the other lads, I don't know. I don't even know what the bloody names are. I've got no idea. But they've spent
Alvarez and Lukongu or something like that, isn't it?
Tavares, yeah, that's the other one as well. But yeah, I think it's I think they're just a bloody mess. But to be honest with you, we expected they were going to lose, Craig. I just think it's the fashion in which they've lost it again is massively disappointing if you're an Arsenal fan. And I've watched a lot of Arsenal over the last 5-6 years, and I've said it before, and we said it last week. I just think their vocal fans do them no favors at all because they focus in on the wrong thing. They focus in on changing the manager because it's simple. It's change the manager. Then I never see any depth in what Arsenal fans are saying, but publicly, it's just noise. Oh yeah, it's loud noise, it's aggression, and it's like, but they'll never say anything against some of these players. They'll never say anything against some of them because they're their favourites, and that straight away. Look, for me as a United fan, nothing's off. Nothing's off the record. If Bruno has a shit game, he's my favourite player. He's going to get it. If Ronaldo has a shit game, he's a legend. He's going to get it. He's going to get an honest, he was shit today. I don't see that from Arsenal, and I don't see that in general. And I think this is why they keep going round in circles, because they won't face up to the real issues, which are, you can change your manager, but certain players, he's not the problem today, but since Aubameyang's got that contract, he's done an Ozil. He's on huge money, and he's not delivered. It's been a year.
Can't wait for the documentary. Can't wait for the Amazon Prime show.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
That genuinely is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Well, it's meant to be a big season for Arsenal. They've got no European football. They've got no points after 3 games. They've got no goal in the Premier League in August yet. But Leno's another one. They all love Leno. Look at that. Look at the wrist there.
That is...
What's he been doing with his wrists as a teenager? That's the third time
Why
I've said
is he pushing up instead of forward with his hand? Oh, look, here's look. There was a hand to the face, but was it 6 of one, half a dozen of the other? I don't know. Maybe I'm being overly harsh here. Look, bit of hands off on both of them.
Oh, I reckon there's enough. I think VAR should have called that out.
Let's put it this way, Mark. I think that would be given as a penalty if it was the other way around.
Look, Arsenal haven't done much right, but that should not have been a goal, the second one. Looking at it there. But again, we are being a bit put off by slow-mo, which I don't like. I don't like slow-mos. But it looks to me like he pushes right across his nose quite violently. So
what he has done as well there is he's given up, the defender. I mean, but whether he could have carried on, tracked the run and tried to make the tackle. Yes, okay.
Well, Van Dijk's not going to go down, is he? Van Dijk's not going to go down.
No, not from that.
And that's the failure there, because that to me looked like it could have been a foul on the second goal. But it hasn't been given. So you've gone down clutching your face and it's not been given. For a fact that Van Dijk wouldn't. Yeah, it is the red.
Look at that. Come on. He's sideways.
Yeah.
He turns his body into it. Watch this. Look at that. Come on. That is... I tell you what. I'm getting up off... I'm throwing digs if he does that to me. I don't care. That's reckless.
Well, Arteta's going, how? He gets the ball. Yeah. He needed landing permission. He was on a flight path. You can't do that. You can't do that.
It's like he tried to put his... Like, if that was a kick, a roundhouse kick or something, I think he tried to put his hip into it. It's
definitely
crazy.
A red card, I'm afraid. I do think the second goal might have been a foul, but also I think the centre-backs are so weak and, crap that, I expect my centre-back to stay on his feet. I don't expect my centre-back, when you're defending a cross, I don't want to see my centre-back going on the floor clutching his face.
How long... I don't know the geography of England well enough to know how long that drive would take an Arsenal fan, say, from London to Manchester.
So I'm in the Midlands. That's about 2 hours. Probably got about another 2 hours. So 4 hours.
So 4 hours to get there for a 12:30 game. You're probably getting there about 10:30, 11 o'clock. You're probably leaving. You're getting up at 6 a.m. this morning, probably, to start that journey. And some of them have gone 25 minutes into the game there because their team's already bottled it and rolled over. And if that doesn't tell you everything...
They'll be back in time to watch Liverpool-Chelsea, though, won't they? At least they get to watch that.
But I genuinely... I've got sympathy for the Arsenal fans who are realistic. who, you know, will say there are problems, these players aren't showing up. You know, maybe the smaller accounts on Twitter or your friends or the people who are realists about the Arsenal situation, who haven't got their heads buried in the sand or aren't counting £50 notes. Like, I do feel sorry. I've got a lot of mates who support Arsenal, and, you know, I feel their pain because I can see Liverpool in the 90s there. I can see Liverpool in the early 90s at times before Houllier really got hold of it. It's just a soft underbelly. They're too soft. They're too nicey nice. And the person they think is a hard man is just a thug in Xhaka, who's not even a hard man. Like, he's not even doing that job. Like, how could you compare him to the likes of Fabinho as an example in a similar role, or what Kante or Kovacic does at Chelsea?
Yeah, I agree. Look, we weren't joking. When they lost to Brentford, we said with Arsenal that their season starts in mid-September when they play Norwich. I absolutely do not think... look, I've been down this road. Arsenal fans have been down this road. You've been down this road at Liverpool as well. You've sacked managers. Arteta ain't getting the sack before the Norwich game. No chance, because you have just lost to Man City and Chelsea, who are the two favourites for the title. So he won't get the sack off that. I think if you're an Arsenal fan, you're going to have to start losing to Norwich and people like that before he gets the sack, to be honest.
But at what point realistically does replacing the manager matter? Like, that money is being spent now. The Arsenal board have a get out of jail card.
Yeah.
To say, look, we spent the money. We matched the top spenders in the Premier League, or we were the top spenders in the Premier League in this window. We listened to the transfer committee. You know, the cronkies that go, we're not soccer people. We listened to the transfer committee. We listened to Edu. We listened to Arteta, and this is where we ended up. So it is a vicious circle, because that is, for Arsenal, that expenditure in this summer is quite an outlay. Let's be frank about it. I mean, I haven't seen Jurgen Klopp spend that much without bringing that much in since his entire time at Liverpool.
Yeah, I know. It's
look at your business. You brought in Sancho, generational talent, somebody who is, you know, touted around Europe. You got him in for 70-something million. Varane, World Cup winner, multiple-time Champions League winner, French international, to come in alongside who you've paid a world record fee for a defender. So you've gone out there and you've ticked the box straight away. Ronaldo, it's an anomaly signing, but it's not going to be a bad thing. It's going to be a good thing for the club, for the youngsters coming through, for the morale. So you can look at every single one of those signings and go, okay, there's common sense behind it. Outside of Ben White, if he's played in the right structure with two big centre-backs beside him, I struggle to see what they've spent their money on.
Again, we've talked about this before. I'm baffled by Arsenal's transfer business, and I don't know. You know, some clubs run very differently, aren't they? I don't know how Liverpool run. Man City have basically a panel, and I think that's what Edu does. But you'd presume that Arteta's got some input into that, and ultimately, I just find it. I understand why they went for Ben White, because he's a good player, but for £50 million, it's an embarrassment to spend that much money on a player like that. He's not a £50 million player. I don't care what anybody says. He's a Brighton centre-back who was a supplementary last-minute call-up for the Euros. He doesn't even play for England. He's not a £50 million player. You put massive pressure on him because he's not a £50 million player, and you spend a large part of money on one player. Now, I know they've tried the £25 million players. I mean, where's Gabriel? I'm not talking about dreams can come true. Where's Gabriel? They bought him last year. Where is he?
Because she's still floating around, believe it or not. She's actually still doing her bits. What gets me is, look, a sporting director, as you well know, or a footballing director, whatever you want to call it, their job is to make sure that the club's footballing philosophy is brought through right from the underage level all the way to the first team. And if the first team coaches change, the philosophy of the club doesn't change. It's actually probably a more important role than the coach. They're there to make sure that the coaches could be seamlessly brought in or out on the European model, and that the transfers are based around the club's footballing philosophy. Yeah. There is none of that at Arsenal. It's all lost.
Well, they're making a substitution.
Here's El Neni, though, so it's all good.
The Saka, yeah, may as well rest. Have a week off, mate.
We need you for Norwich.
Well, yeah, I've 3 weeks. You go and join up with Southgate now. He's just coming back from injury, Gabriel.
Zinchenko coming on for City as well.
Well, they're on easy street. But yeah, I do know some Arsenal fans that are very, very intelligent, and they do speak a lot of sense. But I also know a lot of Arsenal fans who, and I think we all know them as well, who are full of shit. And I think they've also almost become a cliche, because they know that if they scream and shout, people watch them. But the dangerous thing is, and I think it was actually at the game midweek in the Carabao Cup. I didn't hear it. I don't know how big it was, but apparently people were singing about the Arsenal fan channel, saying "Get out of our club." And I'm against that. I'm against that because I think that at the end of the day, people have got to have the right to express their opinion. But then I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say that those people are wrong who don't like it to express their opinion. And I think as an outsider looking at that and knowing how their model works now, it really is about, the reason we stopped doing fan cams on the United stand was because we did it for 3 years and we were in conversation every game about what questions to ask people. And then you realize it's not authentic. And then you couple that with people who are queuing up, knowing that if they say the right things, they might get really popular. And it's not authentic again.
Oh, yeah, you'll have your name on a hat and a T-shirt before Christmas and your own catchphrase.
Yeah, exactly. It jumped the shark. Basically. And there are some very good people who do it. But the reality is, not everything lasts forever. X Factor should have been got rid of long before it carried on. And that, I do think that sort of content is a little bit X Factor. And I've got to be careful not to be a hypocrite, because we did have them on the United stand. And also, I'm prone to having a bit of an angry reaction. But I do like to think that when I have an angry reaction, you will get me an hour later saying I overreacted, or within my angry reaction, I'm actually analysing something tactical in it. And I just find a lot of the stuff I hear about Arsenal, the reason a lot of people who are not Arsenal fans like to watch Arsenal rants is because it's embarrassing and they're funny and it's illogical. Nobody really watches Arsenal content for, deep dive analysis of what the real problems are at Arsenal. If I was somebody who didn't watch Arsenal and understand what the problem is because I watched them and I just went and listened to some of these fans, I'd think, well, you just sack the manager and you're fine. That's all you need to do. And Aubameyang and Leno are the best players in the world. But when you watch them, you're like, well, yeah, sack your manager. Maybe he's not good enough, but you're not going to solve your problems. And Aubameyang looks like a lazy, greedy player who just can't be arsed. And Leno looks to me like a German Jordan Pickford. But I don't ever hear them getting any stick. And your defence belongs in the bloody National League.
I've been silent because I struggle to disagree with anything you've said there, to be honest. And you know me, I'm rather vocal in my my opinions. And look, how do I say this? We don't like or take any enjoyment in running anybody down. We don't want to critique other people's work or what they do. But when it gets to me, Mark, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, is when we get tarnished with other people's styles of content. That annoys me.
I had an interview the other week with somebody and they went, "Are you the United AFTV?" And I went, "Piss off. We'll end this."
I got that the other night. I was like, 5 minutes shouting.
I'm like, no, very, very much not. We work in the same arena, but we do not have the same principles as that. It is not, no, because I don't think there's much credibility to what they're doing at the moment. I don't see much analysis.
Hand on heart, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you if I felt you were that version of that particular channel, because, I like conversate with you about football because I know you understand the game and we can see the nuances of it. And yes, we're all going to be unhappy when our team loses and we're all going to single out individuals, but the truth and the honesty comes in. It doesn't matter who the individual is. I don't care if you shouldn't be best mates first and foremost. You shouldn't be on WhatsApp with them because you're there to be a voice and help try and represent the majority of fans and give fan opinion.
But the thing is, I love football. I love Manchester United, and we've just had this romance of Ronaldo coming back. And I don't expect any non-United fan to go, "Oh, so pleased for you, it's great." I don't expect that because that's rivalry. But as I said, I get loads of shit off La Liga fans, Barcelona fans, Real Madrid. I get loads of shit because I just say La Liga's finished, and they hate that. They're very protective of it. But when Messi went to PSG, I was like, I can only empathise with.
Oh, he has a wrist. He has a wrist.
What's happened to your wrists? I can only empathise with Barcelona because Messi's a player that they produced. It's their legend. They haven't even got to say goodbye to him, and he's gone. It's horrible. And I feel sorry for Arsenal fans, you know. I do feel sorry for Arsenal fans because I'm an empathetic person. I actually would never like to see Liverpool get relegated or Arsenal because everyone says, I'd love to see them get relegated, but then you wouldn't get to play them twice a season. It'd be funny for that day. And then you'd go, oh, actually, I miss them. You know, I want them to be a rival. You know, the best rivalry we've had in the Premier League, because we've never had it with Liverpool, is we've never been in the same sort of title races. Arsenal, late 90s, it was brilliant. So I actually feel sorry for Arsenal fans. And I want to have a proper conversation. That's why I love That's Football. I want a proper conversation about why Arsenal are struggling.
Well, I'm why you love That's Football, let's be honest.
Yeah,
come on.
But let me just think. We're 50 minutes and 45 seconds. We're 50 minutes and 50 seconds. And I just feel that, and I retract from this, I just feel that the fan community has become quite aggressive. And the reason it's become quite aggressive is it's because it's almost like, well, people love rage, people love rants, people love beef. I don't think they do. I think that's 3 or 4 years ago. But I crave conversation. I crave passion at football. I don't mind people getting angry or excited, but it just feels to me like that noise it's like every game with Arsenal. And it, you know,
what got me was that famous clip, the one that the soundbite that went around there. How much did you make? That was the moment for me. How much did you make today? And super chats. How much did you make today? You know what I'm talking about. People watching know what I'm. That for me, that was the moment where I went, no, that's not fan content. That's not what I'm about. That's not what I want to be related to.
Yeah, but you know, even I mean, that's another reason, I suppose. But for me, it's like it's not a shock when Arsenal lose anymore. When they lose to Brentford, it's not a shock. It was about 5 years ago. Oh, what a goal! What a goal!
You know, I'm somewhat relieved now because you don't get your 3-0.
Yeah. Rodri, 4-0. It's a lovely finish, that is.
Yeah, it's a nice sideful finish.
But again, Leno shouldn't be beaten. Let's have a look.
Oh, Cedric's giving it to. Come on, lads. We've got this, Mr. Suarez. Come on, we've got this. He's a big lad, Rodri, isn't he?
Yeah.
Look, simple passing though. Look at this. How half-arse jogging. Was
he offside there? No, Leno shouldn't get beat from there.
Let's have a look. Was he? No. I think the left back was playing him on. I think Tierney was playing him on. Hard to see from that angle.
Actually, I'm not going to give Leno much stick there because he's curled it into the bottom corner. It's a lovely finish.
Yeah, he's used the defenders as a guide, hasn't he? Yeah. And just drifted that into the far corner. Yeah. That's a quality finish, actually.
It's a training ground thing, isn't it? You'd probably do that if you weren't 3-0 up. He wouldn't take that shot, I don't think.
That's the epitome of passing the ball into the net. Just guiding it. You don't have to put your foot through it. Just use the pace, guide it around the defender, blind the keeper. He'll see it last minute. Man, it was just a good goal. You just have to say it was just a good goal.
We're not doing the 3 o'clock kickoffs today, which is a shame because Solihull Moors are playing at 3 o'clock. So keep an eye on my Twitter. I'll be giving you the updates. Barnet at home. I was going to go and watch it actually, but obviously I'm doing the watch along for Liverpool Chelsea at 5:30, so we'll be back on there for that. But going back to what we were talking about,
congrats on that as well. By the way, congratulations. You were looking rather dapper in the shirt. I liked it. That's football.
Yeah,
looking well on the front of
it. Solihull Moors. That's football. We're sponsoring. I've got the shirt. Well, you won't be able to see it.
Is it wrong that I was thinking, Mark's in there now, we'll have a little kick about in that stadium someday. We'll have to go in there and have a little kick around.
No, let us do it. I think there's going to be a charity game at the end of the season. The groundsman, I've got to work on him a little bit, but he'll do it.
We'll sweet talk him. It'd be grand. Give him a jersey. Oh, let me just.
I'll get it.
Yeah, I was so happy for the whole team when I seen that.
Off because yellow doesn't work well with green screens, but here we go.
That must be a very proud moment for you, mate. Genuinely, it must be a proud moment to see, something.
It's everybody. You're part of the channel. Everybody in the chat.
I nearly pissed myself laughing though when it was YouTube superstar. I was like, all right. I thought his head's big enough already. Listen up. Look at that though. It's looking well.
That's
fair play.
I tell you what, the away kit isn't out yet, but it's even better. But that's football. This channel, which you're a member of, make sure you subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. Solihull Moors. We're sponsoring Solihull Moors this season. Women's team. And keep an eye on my Twitter because I'll be tweeting out their scores today. They're in the National League. If they get promoted, they go up to League 2. They're only about a 5-minute drive away from where I live. And because of you and your support, we're sponsoring a football team this season. So it's my second team because it's my local team, but it can be your second team. They're a National League side. Get behind Solihull Moors this season.
There will be non-league day coming up as well.
Yeah.
It comes around. Week. Let's try and make that more often. If you are in the area, get down, check it out. It looked like a nice ground.
Yeah. So links in the video. No, there's no link in the video description. Just give it at Mark Goldbridge. I'll be tweeting about them. But they got a last-minute equaliser against the Hollywood Wrexham last week. Ryan Reynolds was even liked my tweets. He was in the mud last week. I was like, sit down, Ryan Reynolds, because they bought Wrexham. They're in the same league. They're winning 2-1, and Solihull Moors got a late equaliser. Barnet today. We should be getting a win there. But look, yeah, it's a bit of fun, but we will be getting access to training and the ground, and we'll be doing crossbar challenges and stuff. And it's just
of course he'll be doing a crossbar challenge. Of course he will. Look at him. Oh, we'll be doing a crossbar challenge.
I'm pretty good at those. I wonder why. But yeah, so yeah, the story will be told, and the women's team as well. They've had a good start to the season, or they lost midweek. I wasn't very happy, but they lost midweek. But they're doing a good job as well. And yeah. I've just got to say thanks to everyone in the chat and who supports the channel because it's allowed it to, happen. So make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner.
It's a beautiful thing, I have to say. I was looking at the shots the other day of you in and around the ground and in the shirt, and I just thought, his local club, that must really feel good to be able to do that.
It isn't really my local club because I'm not from here. I mean, I've only lived here 10 years, but it is the most
your community. It's where you're setting roots with your family.
But people will be going, why don't you support him? Well, no, I've lived in a lot of places. So,
who was your Dublin team?
I didn't really follow football in Dublin. I'd probably go Drogheda. I liked it when they won. They won the league once.
Drogheda. Dundalk had a very, very, very good run. Just up the road from Drogheda as well, but you would have been Northsider, so you would have been probably more Shelburne, Bohemians.
Portmarnock weren't a bad side, but they weren't top. They weren't
good amateur setup out in Portmarnock. Same with League Slip as well. Great setup.
Yeah, I trained with them for a bit one summer. I was going to play with them, but I just was not serious enough. I used to just be like, "Oh, we're going down the pub on a Friday." Yeah, I trained with them for about 2 months, and it was a good standard, but. Yeah.
Oh, there he is, Lacazette.
Got to be dedicated. There he goes off Aubameyang after an hour. What a wait. I tell you what, I'll drop a tweet out now. You watch what happens. And this is the problem with Arsenal fans. Aubameyang off after, half an hour. What's he on wages-wise?
I think it's north of 300 grand. I don't know if he's quite on Ozil's 400 odd grand, but I think he's north of 300. But I could be. Somebody in the chat will know. It's just so telling from both teams, isn't it? They've already rested Aubameyang now, so they've got him off. City brought Zinchenko on. They're resting players. We're only 50 minutes into the second half.
Yeah. I've just tweeted it.
Tick, 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 boom.
Boom, boom, boom.
I finally found out what to say it, Mark. I finally figured it out.
What, my car?
Yeah, finally figured it out when I watched the Jackmate thing.
Yeah. I wondered how you figured that out.
That's a beautiful teddy, by the way. That's a proper cuddly teddy. That one now. That's one you can get a real good grip of at night when you're happy that Ronaldo's after coming back or whatever. Like, I'd say that teddy got a scene to last night. He's not denying it, folks. Look, you heard the teddy. I'd say your teddy got a scene to last night. Did it got a nice cuddle after Ronaldo came home? A happy squeeze.
I don't want to blow your illusions, but that house isn't my house.
I was wondering because I've seen Mark
Goldbridge. House. I've not made that much money.
I thought you were going to say that's a bloody mansion, just only a quarter of my house.
That wasn't my bed, and it's not my teddy. There you go.
Goldilocks over here. Look at this. This one's too lumpy. This one's too soft.
This is what happens when you average name says he's from Drogheda. My best man lives in Drogheda.
I am.
But yeah, he's very. Make sure you watch Driving with Goldbridge, by the way. Please do, because a lot of people did a lot of good stuff on that. And
it's all I can do, folks, is watch it. That's all I can do. It's just watch it, see the Wash and Go, and just go, oh, I remember the stream I was on when Wash and Go came in the chat. I remember that stream.
My job is relatively easy in that compared to all the work that goes in, and it's so well produced. I'm so proud of it, really.
It is a fantastic bit of video quality. It is.
I might not do anything like it again, but at least I can say I did it. It was something I wanted to do. So.
Oh, we noticed the big boys were brought out. The A-team, the pie faces, the jackmates of this world. Do you know what I mean? The elite circle, the Freemasons of YouTube, shall we say?
You've got to. If you can't get on the Happy Hour podcast, you're never going to get on with Driving with Goldbridge.
That's true. I mean, I know my place, mate. You know what I mean? I might be allowed. I might make it as Jack's Fluffer someday or something like that.
I'll tell you what, though, big shout out to Pieface, because as soon as it went out, he retweeted it and did a tweet about it. I told Jack about it. He still hasn't fucking tweeted it. I don't get it. Just tweet it.
Be honest with me. Spending the day with Pieface. Be honest. Did you finish that day just smiling your ass off? Because he's so infectious, isn't he? He's such a lad. He's such a good lad.
Well, he actually had a negative test when he worked with me, so I don't know what he was about infectious, but he's everybody I've done so far, 4 of them, all very nice lads who probably in the public eye are perceived in very different ways. But yeah, he's a nice guy.
I love the Attenborough voice.
That's my best David Attenborough I've ever done. I've been working.
I'll give you credit on that one. That was well executed.
I have to work on it. I can't do it off the cuff. I have to practice it a little bit. But it was very good. I was practicing it on the way down in the car. I did it for about 10 minutes in the car on the way down.
I heard Jack Bates saying to you, "Oh, Goldbridge getting beeped." I was like, "All right, Mister, you've got a Range Rover 2 weeks and it's been crashed twice. Relax now, relax, pal." Giving you a bit of stick about getting a beep on the road.
I'm so pissed off because I think I was going to go 4-0 in this game and I've gone 3-0. Craig's out. He went with 3-1.
Yeah, we're both looking at just a point here for the win, though.
Yeah. It's interesting, though, because we've both, for the Liverpool-Chelsea game. So basically, it's Craig against me this season in a Premier League predictions.
What was our forfeit, by the way? I can't remember this.
Was this not for charity? No. There was something.
No, we put the £500 bet on before Ronaldo signed for United that who'd finish above who, but I can't remember what our forfeit is on this one. Or is it the chat?
I think we're going to get a trophy made up or something like that.
Oh, a belt. Give me a belt. Oh, please, give me a belt.
Yeah, that'd be good because then we can do it every year. So if we get the exact score, you get 3 points. If you get the right result, you get 1 point. So we're both going to get the right result because we both said Man City, Arsenal. But just to give people an idea, Craig is winning 16-14 after 2 weeks. But this afternoon's Chelsea-Liverpool game, he's gone for a Liverpool win 2-1. I've gone for a Chelsea win 2-1. So what do you think in the chat? How do you think Liverpool-Chelsea's going to go? Because I'm really excited about this game today. I'd love it to be a draw. And we didn't put the Premier League prediction video out because of all that happened yesterday, but we did say this, Craig. I said, I think this game's too early in the season. I think it's a bit of a shame, really, that they're playing each other so soon because both teams have got great momentum and whatever happens, you can't both win. So it's great. I'm really looking forward to it, but I do wish this was sort of November time, October, because I think it's such a good game against 2 very informed teams. It's
one of those that it could be a pick 'em or somebody could blow the other one away. It really is so interesting. Yeah, it's so interesting to see how this falls out. I'm thinking part of me thinks, are we catching Chelsea at the right time? Lukaku hasn't fully bedded in, and then other parts of me are thinking, if you lose at home, how's this going to affect form? You have 2 weeks of an international break. But most of me is just genuinely excited about the caliber of game, a full house at Anfield, and to really see ourselves tested against the top and see how we are after last season. So I'm excited. I think it's a great game to look forward to. And they got the kickoff slot spot on as well.
And I think whoever wins it, you sit top of the... Well, you might not sit top of the table. You'd be joint top if West Ham win and Spurs win, but and Brighton actually as well. But yeah, it's a big win if you get it. A big win if in fact, if Chelsea win it, because it's at Anfield, they're going to take some stopping. But I hope it's a draw. I think these are the sort of games that if you want to be in a title race, and God, I want United to be in a title race, then I'd like it to be a draw.
I was sent what I believe is the Liverpool starting 11 this morning. And if it is there's a bit of a surprise in midfield. I'll send it on to you. So
I'll tell everyone.
Okay, fair enough, then I won't.
I can't help myself sometimes with that.
Yeah, I'm like that as well. I can't hold anything in. Like if I've surprised my wife or something, I can't hold it in. I just tell her straight away. I'm the most likely person to never cheat on my missus, by the way, because I just couldn't hold it in. I come home and tell her straight away.
Guess what I did? Guess what she let me do? Or he?
Yeah. And it's just your fault, love, don't you? Why is it my fault? I don't know, but I wasn't shown enough. Do you know who I am, love? I work with Goldbridge now. I'm the real deal. Show me some respect. I wasn't getting it in the house, so I had to go elsewhere. No,
that top you were wearing, I thought it looked quite cool because they had like a red square on it. I've just realised it's actually the Arsenal red card that we've put above you. Arsenal there. They're very well, Eddie. Thanks for asking. Please subscribe, by the way.
I mean, look at that number, man. 513. It's just ticking along nicely. I can't believe by the end of this season, maybe start the next. I'm gonna get me a gold YouTube award, mate. I'm gonna pay for my extra when you get it, and I'm gonna have a gold one, and I'm gonna put it in my room like I've had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I don't think I think we're away off a million yet, but
we'll get there. We'll get there, man. We'll get there. Reinventing the football fan game. Everybody's welcome in here.
Liz Titcombe says, "Are you streaming the 3:00 games?" I'm not, because we're going to do Liverpool Chelsea, and that would have just been ridiculous to go from midday till. Good save by Leno. He's found his wrists. That would be just too much. But what I will probably do is get on for the sort of full times at maybe like quarter to 5.
You want me to do we're going to touch some international games during the week, aren't we? You want me to do Portugal, Ireland?
Well, I might end up doing it with you now.
Cool, that'd be fun.
It's Ronaldo, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going on expecting Ireland to collect the 3 points, but always happy to see how we're developing.
Ronaldo,
here we go.
I think it's got to be worth a look. And England are playing Poland on the 3rd. England have got a couple of games that are worth watching. Actually, we've got Andorra. I'm not interested in that, but England, Poland, and Hungary. I think we're playing them as well. So there's a couple of England games to watch, and I'll certainly give Portugal, Ireland a watch. I've not watched Ireland play football for a long time, so that would be quite depressing because they're not the team they used to be. But
no, but we have some decent youngsters starting to come through, and much like the Welsh FA did all those years ago, the rebuild is starting, I think, bit by bit at the FAI, and it's a long road ahead. But there's a decent pool within the League of Ireland as well if they look to it. But look, Portugal. Let's be fair, I'm not expecting anything from that game.
Yeah, it'd just be nice to see Ronaldo. He's coming. But look, we were going back to this before. I mean, we were talking about Arsenal. There's still 20 minutes to go. All I want to see, look, I'm very proud of this space that we have. And, I have my principles about how it should work. And I think that the whole point of this is that we're not mainstream media. We're not ex-players. And you can do things with those people. Of course you can. But you must also control your integrity and the fact that fan opinion is what it is. It's meant to be raw and it's meant to be opinionated. What it's not meant to be is cliche, repetitive and without substance. And I just think that when I watch Arsenal, and I do watch a lot of. In fact, I've watched every Arsenal game so far this season because we did Brentford, we did Chelsea, so I've seen three Arsenal games this season, and I crave some intelligent opinion from Arsenal fans. What I don't crave is Arteta, because I've heard Emery, I've heard Wenger, and I still keep saying the same thing every time I watch Arsenal. And I think you do get a lot of sense from people who are right, who don't support your club. You can find some very interesting things out. And to me, I just think that the big trouble with Arsenal, we've seen Aubameyang. Why are you taking off your captain on 350 grand a week after an hour? I know you're losing, but I've seen no effort, no drive, no leadership.
And now, bye goal. Here goes the one of the marquee signings now to be replaced by Maitland-Niles. Odegaard gone off.
I really do not see enough people saying things about the players at Arsenal.
There's no solutions. They don't offer solutions. They just offer hate and anger.
Aggression, anger, repetitive. Changing your manager doesn't change your squad. And what makes me laugh the most is that there's certain players that Arsenal fans just won't go in on. Romano has just said that Dalot is staying. Get in.
Does that mean no Trippier?
Yeah. Yeah. Dalot. Oh, this is great. I'll wind everybody up again. I didn't want Trippier. What would have been your thoughts on that as a Liverpool fan if we got rid of Dalot and brought in Trippier?
It wouldn't have appealed to me too much, to be honest. From a neutral perspective, I wouldn't have looked at it and gone, well, that's going to help them out drastically. I wouldn't look at it like a Varane or a Sancho, or I would have just thought, it's just a nothing thing, really, to be honest with you. Just screams of a player. I think I fair play to him, by the way, for going to Atleti. He's won himself a La Liga title, and it takes a lot of courage to go out there and do what he did. But I wouldn't be excited about it from a United perspective if I was a United fan.
No, I'm very happy about it. Look, I just think Trippier is better than Dalot at the moment, but Trippier is 31 and Dalot is, he was in the Euros with Portugal. He's still a very young lad. And I think he's, in 5 years' time, he is going to be better than Trippier because Trippier's going to have retired. But I just think there's something in Dalot, and he's a likeable player, and there's something there. And he's a bit raw, but it doesn't feel like the sort of thing United should do that. So I'm very happy with that. I do like Trippier, but also that's money United have got to spend, and that money could be spent elsewhere because Dalot wasn't being sold; he was going on loan. So we were loaning a young right back to buy a 31-year-old. For me, it was a bad idea.
Is there been any talk of Van de Beek moving on, or do you think he could be linked to a potential 6 coming in?
I think I love Van de Beek. I think he'd do a great job. I think he'd do a great job at City. I think he'd do a great job at Liverpool. I think he'd suit the way those teams play really, really well. And with a proper manager who knows how to get the best out of him. And look, I'm not disrespecting Ollie there. I don't want Ollie to be sacked, but I just don't think he knows how to use a midfielder like that. If I was Van de Beek, I'd be asking for a move because he's just missed out on the Dutch squad. And apparently Van Gaal said to him, I can't pick you because you're not playing for United. So he's basically saying you might want to. He's going to waste 2 years of his career because he doesn't get picked. He's not been picked this season. So I would, if I was Donny, I would try and get a move or a loan. But
he was one of those players when you signed him, I thought it's not a bad piece of business. That he was part
Are
of
you not expecting any business with Liverpool before Tuesday? There's literally absolutely nothing. You basically Canate's it, isn't it?
The hypocrisy has been hilarious because it's been like the summer's supposed to be about contract renewals. It's supposed to be about moving on fringe players, freeing up some overseas squad player places, and we've done all of that except Divock Origi being moved on, and yet we're still twiddling our thumbs, and we're supposed to believe that Harvey Elliott is not only a Shaqiri replacement but can apparently cover the 50 games when Wijnaldum played last season. We're being sold down the river again and told next summer, and it's just getting extremely frustrating. But Do you know what hurts the most is to complain about it feels very disrespectful to the great group that we have at the team, because everybody believes in Klopp and everybody loves and respects those first 15, 16 players. We just know that we're realistic. We didn't expect a Haaland, but two 30, 35 million pound players that Klopp and Pep Linders could undercover from Europe, and we know that they would have been the right players. We know they would have been a good fit, and we could have extended our squad reach. So we were being realistic, and we just feel like we've been shafted again. Some of us. I can't speak for everybody, of course.
It makes me laugh how you thought you were getting Mbappe.
I never thought we were getting Mbappe, to be honest with you, mate. I never thought it was. But I am convinced 100% we're signing Jude Bellingham, by the way. I mean, I'm all in on that one next summer.
You'll have to find 100 million.
I think genuinely, I fully believe that he will be a Liverpool player. I know people will laugh, and it goes against everything we've done. Well. I hoped, but I understood that you guys have put the groundwork in, which is what we have been doing right. If you look at Henderson at the Euros, he doesn't move away from Bellingham for the entire Euros. And the reason I think it'll become possible next summer is I think we'll sell one of the front three. It won't be Salah, but it probably be Bobby Firmino. But I think that will part fund whatever way we go, because that's the only way we do business. Whatever we like to admit it or not, we don't make big money signings without selling somebody.
You wouldn't get much. And it could be the right, would you?
Not enough to cover Bellingham now, if we're being realistic about it. He'd have 1 year left on his contract if he doesn't renew this summer. So you're probably looking at 40 if Michael Edwards could do well to get 40 from somewhere in Europe.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Liverpool haven't bought more players, but
we're not that too far away. Like, I mean, an attacking midfielder.
If you lose Salah, who plays on the wing?
Probably Elliott. Or you switch Jota around. I think we can cover losing one forward. We'll be all right. But the real problem comes when, you look to that creative spark maybe. Because we like a two in midfield. Klopp likes two workhorse, a holding midfielder and a box-to-box player. But with Thiago, Chamberlain, Keita, there's potential for midfielders to be on the front foot with Elliott, of course, as well. But they're also rather injury-prone. So, it'd be disingenuous. Oh, here we go.
Good save,
Sterling. That's something I've never understood about Raheem Sterling. He has the world at his feet. I think he's a tremendously talented footballer, but he is not great at finishing, is he? And I know that's an easy slag to say, but he genuinely isn't. And he has everything else about him, every other attribute to his game. Scary to think what he could do if he was a clinical finisher.
Oh, yeah. Well, they were trying to offload him, weren't they? Part of the Ronaldo deal. That was one of the players that they were actually going to think about getting rid of.
I won't lie, mate. I'd have had him back. And we discussed this on our channel.
He'd be exactly the right sort of player to bring in for you.
Because I looked at it. People say, oh, he's a snake. He's like Coutinho. I don't view it the same. Yes, I don't like the way he left.
Injured again, look. Kieran Tierney.
Do I understand that he was at Liverpool under Brendan Rodgers when we were going nowhere? And Manchester City came in with a big offer, and he wanted to go win trophies. If Klopp was there, I don't think Sterling goes anywhere. So I view it a little bit differently. But again, we won't be signing, so it's irrelevant. But yeah, Tierney down. That's the second game in a row we've been watching now. He's gone down with a knock.
I think he's a decent left back, but I do not get the obsession with him. I don't. I've never watched him and gone, wow.
People tried to tell me from Arsenal that he would be the best Scottish left back. He's going to embarrass Andy Robertson. He's going to come into and I just thought, shut up. Just don't stop disrespecting Andy Robertson. And Tierney's all right.
He's good, but again, this is the other side of certain Arsenal fans is the hype they put on players. It's just unbelievable. Like, at the end of the day, the harshest thing I could say is that I hear things like Saka's better than Greenwood, and I think, okay. But you've just described a player that's effectively Grealish, because Grealish was a great player for Villa, and Villa are a mid-table club. And Saka's a good player for Arsenal, but they're a mid-table club. I almost think with Saka now, is he a top 4 player? Because you know what I mean? It's like in the old days. I just think he's
getting the coaching, Mark. I just think he's not getting the coaching. If you put him with a Pep or a Klopp,
I agree.
You're going to see a different player. You're going to see a more tactically astute player, because he has all the talent, Saka. He is a tremendous young footballer, and England are blessed with a generation of talent now, the likes of which I haven't seen in my lifetime, really, to come through. Do you know what? To some of the Arsenal fans leaving there now, and do you know, part of me mocked the ones in the first half, but I almost have a begrudging respect for the ones that stayed till 80, to the ones that are still there.
But, you know, like you think back to Fabrizio says Delo's going to stay. Yep, spoke about that, Peter. Very happy about that. But I think back to Arsenal teams with like Thierry Henry and Wright, Tony Adams, you know, Perez and all them lot. And you'd go, well, look, yeah, you bring them to United. Not that they would have come, but they're very clearly top 4 players. The thing about the danger with Arsenal now is that even a good Arsenal player, you've still got to go, well, are they a top 4 player? Because they're not a top 4 club. And it's a bit like what Villa have done with Man City have done with Grealish. They've taken a player who's not a top 4 player, brought him in, and it's like, let's see what he can do. And I think, you know, that's the level Arsenal are at now. But their fans, some of their fans don't accept that. They still will start saying things like Tierney's better than Robertson. When really, actually, my point is, look, Tierney's a decent player, but is he a top 4 player? You know, we won't know how good Tierney is unless he plays for a top 4 team, because doing it for Arsenal, well, he's not doing it for Arsenal, but he's decent, but you can't say he's better than Andy Robertson. You just can't.
And again, looking at it from a whole host of reasons as well. Remember, Andy Robertson was basically a swap for Kevin Stewart, who I'm sure nobody in the chat remembers or has heard of, that we sold to Hull and bought Andy Robertson for pretty much the same fee, £8.5 million.
Yeah.
And it took Andy Robertson about 4 or 5 months before I really start getting a look in at Liverpool. It took him that long to bet his way in. That's just, you know, there are some players that just need a bit of patience. I said, you can't believe their luck here again today. It's just goal bonuses everywhere. It's just like a training exercise, this. And do you know what? Do you know, we'll hear Arteta come out and use the red card as a shield to try and justify this nonsense.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just half-paced jogging. No one's really arse closing down. There's a ball to the back post, just missed again. It's just Arsenal players just jockeying, just half jogging. Nobody really sprinting to close down. No press. There's just nothing there. They're just toothless.
Somebody just told me that Forest are playing Derby. Well, I'm from Nottingham. I had no idea. I don't know what the score is.
That's a Derby right there.
I think Derby are winning. Well, actually, I should be taking a bit of an interest because James Garner plays for them now. He was on loan from Forest, from Manchester United to Forest. And
that's my wife's club.
Forest?
Yeah, genuinely.
Really?
Yeah, genuinely. She grew up as in the Scouts, and her dad was a Scout leader and stuff, and there was always a big Scout thing over in Nottingham that they always went over to, and she was shown around the city ground, and she's always been a Forest fan.
You couldn't get a more even game in the Derby Forest game. 50% possession each, 12 shots each, 4 on target for Derby, 3 on target for Forest, 4 corners each, and 5 fouls to Derby and 7 to Forest. Very equal game by the sounds of it. Apparently Forest have just scored. I don't know whether that's true. Could be a joke. It is 1-0 actually.
Every season, my wife stays interested in Forest for 6 months, and then she knows the inevitable fall off comes. You know, they'll start the season and then fall away, and she every year without fail goes to me, "Has it started yet?"
Oh, it has. It is 1-1. Forest have just scored. Was it Garner? I'd love it to be Garner. It is 1-1.
There's another
it's
one.
5 here. Ferran Torres.
Again, simple ball into the box.
How many goals have Arsenal conceded now in August? They got beat 2-0 by Brentford, and was it 2-0 by Chelsea? I think it was.
It's at least 2-0 by Chelsea, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was 2.
Let's have a look at this.
Mahrez off the bench. Might be a bit of offside there.
No, it wasn't actually. It was no offside because it was Grealish wasn't involved.
Oh yeah. Torres, good header again. You got to question a team that concedes. How many headers have they conceded? 2.
Simple ball, right between two centre backs who are looking at each other. It's just pathetic defending.
Absolutely pathetic defending. Pathetic. I've never seen such pathetic defending.
Especially when you're playing with a back 5, let's not forget in this one. So when you're defending, you're supposed to be defending deep with a 5, compact.
But absolutely, you're right. The best word I can say is pathetic. Absolute pathetic.
So what's this now? It's 2 5-0s in a row for Man City? Or was it the 4 they got? Was it 4 or 5? No, you went 5, didn't you? I went 4.
Yeah.
That's just 10 goals, none conceded in 2 games. And they haven't even broken a sweat. This is what annoys me. It's just, I don't know if too many teams just tickle out, turn over and have their bellies
yeah, you
tickled.
know what? This is the problem as well. I've just gone on Twitter, right? You got Darren Bent, who is an ex-footballer on, I think he's on TalkSport, sometimes on Sky, right? His tweet is Antonio Conte, please. And it's had like 3,000 retweets. And I'm just like...
You think that Antonio Conte's sitting in Italy looking at this going, I'll need 200 million.
But this guy played football. Like, I just, I'd expect a little bit more than that. He also played up front. I'd expect a little bit more than Antonio Conte, please. It's just, I don't know whether it's lazy. It's lazy opinion. Antonio Conte, please. The brat attack is in full force. Antonio Conte, please. I hope you do get Antonio Conte, and I hope you keep losing 4 or 5-0, because until your fans open up their eyes and start using some intelligence, you deserve exactly what you get. Conte, please. Prats. Absolute prats. I mean, you don't deserve to be... Antonio Conte is not going to change this team. Like, he's not going to make Aubameyang give a shit, is he? He's not going to make your defenders be able to actually defend space. I don't think there's one Arsenal player on that pitch I would go, they went down to 10 men and they've worked their arse off. They've just absolutely dropped their heads from minute 1.
It's just been so easy for Manchester City. Not a single leader out there. None. Not one. No pride. It's just been all too predictable and too easy when they went down to 10 men. The inevitable floodgates opened.
When Arsenal sink, they sink, says Alpha Gaming. Yeah. Well, look, this as a footballing spectacle, this has been rather boring, but the chat's been great. So thanks, everyone. And yeah, looking forward to that Liverpool-Chelsea game later, because whatever happens, I tell you what, that's the big difference for me. Is I think if Liverpool were 2-0 down and had a red card against Chelsea, they wouldn't go on and lose the game 5-0 and give up 90% possession, because they've got players who actually give a toss about the shirts, and that's not on the manager. That's probably the best explanation I can give, because I can hear people saying, well, why can't it be on the manager? He's lost. I'm like, nah, if you know football and you've watched football, there should be more from those players. I accept there are tactical issues at Arsenal, but there should be more from those players out on that pitch. And as I said, if this was Chelsea or United or Liverpool and they were 2-0 down and with 10 men off the pitch, they wouldn't capitulate like this. You'd see a lot more effort.
I agree. And look, nobody's saying Arteta's perfect. I don't think either of us is sitting here saying, and we probably believe it was the wrong appointment. Well, I know I certainly do, but at what point do you say, okay, we have to have patience, the rebuild has to begin, we have to give somebody 3 years, and we have to just accept there's going to be ups and downs along the way? Because that's what has to happen. They can't just expect it to to happen overnight, unless you're going to get somebody like Sheikh Mansour who comes in and drops 400 million. Even at that, it took City time to get it right.
Yeah, I agree.
These lads are picking up multi-million pounds a year to stroll around that pitch, half pace, half arsed, without an ounce of respect. I mean, I'm annoyed on Arsenal fans' behalf, if that makes any sense. And I don't give a shite about the club, but it's just from a footballing perspective. Where are your morals? Where's your courage? Where's your self-respect for your shirt, for your fans, for those people that, you know, worked 6 days a week to go to this game, sacrificed, maybe spending time with their loved ones, traveled around the country to follow you, and that dross is what just it is just pathetic. I don't know what else to say. But anyone who thinks it's just a manager's, it's very naive to just think that a new manager's going to solve this.
No. Could be 6. Oh, Leno's made a save. Well, it's funny, isn't it, as well, because we're doing the watch along tomorrow for Spurs. Who are Spurs playing tomorrow? Watford.
Yeah, I meant to say that. We'll have a little chat about that after the game.
All right, okay. Spurs, Watford tomorrow. But if they win, 9 points.
Yeah, and who would have thought that, by the way, from Spurs?
Yeah.
And that they found their way through in the Europa Conference League, so they'll have that headache.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that on Thursday night. I thought they were trying to get knocked out of that on purpose. I thought it was a great idea, and they've actually they've actually got through, haven't they? So, yeah,
Kane got a double, and I can't remember who scored the other one, but yeah, they won 3-0, I think, on the night. Look, it's 24 attempts for Man City to Arsenal's one.
What a ball!
And here's 25.
Makes a good save.
That's now 25 attempts for Manchester City to Arsenal's 1.
Is the game over? Yeah. Thank God it's nearly over. I nearly looked at the clock there and thought it was going to say 72 minutes or something like that. I'm so glad it says 91. Please subscribe, by the way, bottom right hand corner. Thanks everyone for tuning in. And we are nearly over here. Liverpool-Chelsea will be our next one. Actually, I've got a great video going up on the United stand-up. I think it goes up in about 10 minutes, how Ronaldo fits in with United. It's only a 10-minute video, actually, but very interesting insight to what Ronaldo brings to United and what will be out.
10 minutes of you sitting there smiling.
Yeah, basically. Telling everyone how we're going to win everything. You know, no. No, I you know, bit of a spoiler. I just don't see a future for Cavani. I keep saying I wouldn't be surprised if we terminate Cavani's contract by mutual agreement, because I just don't see. You don't.
What's the story with the number? Has there been any talk of a number?
Well, apparently he has to leave the club, and then Ronaldo can have 7, or there has to be special dispensation from the Premier League. But the way Cavani acts, he didn't like his ban last year. He doesn't like being told he can't play for Uruguay. So I don't think he'll like being told his number 7 shirt's going.
The referee has been kind here and blown it up. Very little additional time.
Yeah. Well, there'll be one very happy Arsenal fan tonight.
Arteta's just whistling, going onto the pitch, high fives.
Yeah. They'll be running down there now. Get the cameras ready. Get the mics. Come on. Every video. Arteta out. Anyway, look. Thanks. We're just watching Arsenal on the telly there. The best bit of the game, actually.
I felt like I was watching a puppy being kicked around for the entire 90 minutes.
We will be back for the watch along a little bit later. Thanks everyone for watching. Keep an eye on my Twitter at Mark Goldbridge, because I'll be giving updates on the Solihull Moors. Hopefully they can get a win today, National League. And good luck a little bit later, Craig.
You don't mean it.
I don't.
I know, but I still appreciate it.
don't mean it at all. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll speak to you in a bit. And make sure you check out the video that's going up on the United Stand, which is about Ronaldo. In the meantime, get over, type in Driving with Goldbridge, episode 2. If you've not watched it, please watch it. Driving with Goldbridge, YouTube, episode 2 with Jack Nates. Give it a thought, give it a watch, give us your thoughts.